All right, police reporting a crash 24 westbound before the 65 north split downtown. And in Hermitage, got a crash, police say, Lebanon Pike at Tulip Grove Road. Also in Whites Creek, police say there's a crash 24 westbound near Old Hickory Boulevard North. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You see that? He just left. Schmucko just left me hanging. Did you see him leave me hanging, Chris?
I saw that. Oh,
you see,
oh.
You coming back? No, I don't want to. Give me that. Okay, thank you. All right. All is forgiven. Hello. How are y'all? I got left hanging right at the beginning of the show. You ever do that where you stick the old hand out, give him the old handshake, and the other guy just walks off?
And then pretends to clear his brow.
Oh, I hate that too. Oh, that's the worst.
Yeah.
That's the worst.
Psych.
The opposite of the worst would be the best, and that's Ken Weaver back in the newsroom, News Closet B. He gathers headlines and occasionally opines on other stuff. Hello, Mr. Weaver.
How's it going, boys?
How are you?
I'm doing all right.
Oh, good. You got anything going on in the news today?
Yeah, boy. Looks like a whole bunch of reaction to Elon Musk.
I got a little reaction on that front, too, as you might expect.
Oh, I bet you do.
As you might expect. This is Chris Weber. He's controlling the experience, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible, and that's tough. That's tough work. But he does a good job at it. He also screens your telephone calls, and he loves the fact that, unlike other hosts, we're open for business all 4 hours of the day.
I'm overjoyed by it.
Whenever you want to call. It's a tactical error on my part that I've been engaging in 25 years. Because I am just let's go. Let's make it happen. For example, 2914 on the Super Text line says, hey, Matt, if you're bored with going over the same topics all day that the other hosts have already covered, all right, we're not starting well. We're starting a little negative here.
I think it's starting pretty good, actually. I'm liking where this is going. Continue.
I thought you might. I have a topic on which I'd love to hear your opinion. Well, I have an opinion on which I would love to find a topic. I've been doing a little research. Saying we're turning down a bad road now. I've been doing a little research, and I have found that we have somewhere in between $3 and $7 billion in property taxes, or in property, that is, owned by churches that are exempt from property tax. If churches, especially the mega churches, aren't actively helping people in their community, shouldn't they pay the same taxes as the rest of us? Thoughts? Oh, I have thoughts. I 100% have thoughts. I do not believe. Let me ask you this, and I don't know the answer to it. Are other charitable organizations exempt from paying property taxes? I'm embarrassed to tell you I don't know the answer to that question, but I really don't. Like a 501c3, if you're not exempt from paying taxes on property of your building, are you? I don't believe that's the case. Speaking of property taxes, we're going to talk at length about property taxes, and that might be a good offshoot of the subject. I like the way you're thinking, 2914, because it is always, look, I'm not talking about your small mom and pop. I'm not talking about your country church with 30 or 40 members strong, parishioners coming out on a Sunday morning to hear a little fire and brimstone. I am talking about these mega churches that sit on mega property that don't, well, I don't want to come off as anti-religious, but some of these churches, I just get a little bit confused about what their priorities are. Boy, that's a beautiful gym. That's a great gymnasium. Baseball field. Man, look at that basketball court they got in there. That's all on church property that's tax exempt. What are we doing for the poor again? I hope a lot. Maybe I just don't see it. Churches are funded by their patrons who have already been taxed on the money that they give. Yeah. Every business is funded by their patrons that are already taxed on the money that they give the businesses. So I'm just asking about, so all nonprofits are exempt from paying tax on their property, not just churches. I need to start a nonprofit, I think. Anyway, perhaps we'll get into that coming up in just a couple of minutes. Also coming up in the next couple of hours, there's a protest that's going on outside of City Hall. I don't know if you guys know it or not, but the old mayor Freddie O'Connell, he's been in the news a time or two of late. Mayor Freddie O'Connell is thinking about raising your property taxes if you live in Davidson County. And toward that end, we've been covering this, hopefully as extensively as we need to make you fully aware of it. And there's a protest that's happening a little bit later on this afternoon. And to talk about it, the redheaded stranger, Pamela Furr, let me tell you, I don't normally have guests in the first segment of my show, but I make exceptions for the redheaded stranger. Pamela Furr joins us on the Matt Murphy Show.
That's so nice.
How about
Thank you so much.
I won't. I'm not making you. Look, I know better than to make a redhead wait.
Or angry.
Or angry.
No, thank you. I appreciate the time because this is an issue that I'm obviously extremely passionate about, and that's the idea of raising property taxes. Yeah, I signed up to speak. City Council's meeting at 6:30, so we're gathering at 5 o'clock at the historic courthouse, which is where the city council meets, right inside. And so we're going to meet on the steps of that courthouse and just remind them that we're here and that we do not want to raise property taxes. We can't afford it. And so I've been working on my little speech, Matt, that I'm going to give. You're allowed to speak for 2 minutes at city council meetings. Anybody can sign up, but you can only speak for 2 minutes. So one of the things that I want to remind Freddie and other city council members is that the Music City is a city of dreams and has been since I can remember. I mean, since I was a little kid, even before I was born, a city of dreams, and continually raising our property taxes. I can go on and on and on down the list of things that taxpayers have to pay for, is making it so dreamers can't move here. Only wealthy can move here. You know, dreamers have to live outside of the city, and that makes it a little bit more difficult to dream the dreams you want to dream in the Music City. You know what I mean? And so, anyway, that's the speech I'm working on, but we're inviting everybody to come out and rally on the courthouse steps. Let's enjoy our First Amendment right and remind those city council members that this is not the way to go. I'm hearing rumors, I don't know about you, Matt, that there may be a couple of other proposals that will be brought to the city council by other council members that would have a lot lower property tax than the one that's being proposed. I say no new tax at all, but there are rumors that there may be a budget proposal, an alternative that's going to be proposed to either tonight or on the 17th.
I mean, I think I could probably, I could guess on one hand, and three fingers wouldn't count, the council member that might have an alternative proposal. But
is it a female?
I mean, maybe. I mean, or it could be Benton. I mean, we had a great conversation with David Benton, and I think, is that right? Yeah, I think that's right. And
I think that's right,
and he seemed very much in the camp of we need to do more to get criminal behavior off the streets, and we need to do more to lower the price point of our citizen. But obviously, I mean, Courtney Johnston has been a stalwart on the city council trying to protect our dollars in Davidson County.
Absolutely.
Do you fear that a lot of people have given up in Davidson County on government?
He didn't even have to finish the sentence.
Yeah, I mean,
the
right?
question.
I mean, it's, yeah.
I do, and I have for a long time, and, even though I continue to have hope, people keep saying, you're never going to win, it's never going to happen, the Nationals too blue, and I just don't believe that. If conservative Nashvillians or Davidson County residents will just show up. Because the truth of the matter is, yes, there are more Democrats in the city of Nashville and Davidson County. That is true. But they don't show up either. So if you have more Republicans just show up when it comes time for voting, when it comes time to make public comments, going to public hearings, etc., if you just show up and get involved, you actually can change things here. But enough people, I think, are just so frustrated because nothing seems to get done. And again, I just go back to it's because not enough people are showing up. And so, I mean, here's your opportunity today. It's 5 o'clock today, this rally, and you can come on by as soon as you're done with work, and you can make a difference today. If anything, 27% seems too high. Maybe we can get it down to 10%. Maybe we can get it down to 5%. That would be better than 27%. I'm all for no new taxes, but they're going to pass it if you don't show up. They're going to pass it if you don't tell them stop. And they're going to pass it if you don't tell them that you're going to make a change at the ballot box. And that's where they're scared the most if you show up.
Right.
No,
they
don't
have
believe
to. You have
that
to scare them.
Republicans aren't going to show up.
You
Yeah.
absolutely have to scare them.
Yeah.
And that is crucial. And secondarily, frankly, from the mayor's perspective, maybe not from the perspective of anyone on the city council, but from his perspective, some of the recent events that have put him not just in the Tennessee spotlight, but in the national spotlight, I would think would make him reflect on exactly how he is serving his community and how best to serve his community, and perhaps how best to do right by the people that live in Davidson County, the people that have been here a long, long time, as opposed to seemingly serving the needs of those who have just gotten here recently, either legally or in this case illegally. Right? I mean, I just you know what? If you want to get back into the good graces of some of your constituency in Davidson County, maybe do something that is tangible that they can say, "Hey, Freddie fought for me for once."
Right, exactly. And I would love to hear out of him, you know what, guys, you're right. This is not the time to raise property taxes, so I'm going to take this part out of my budget, and we're going to go back to pre-pandemic spending before we had this non-recurring revenue come in and we started using it for recurring expenses. We're going to go back to pre-pandemic and see what we can do, and we're not going to use you as a blank check. That right there, my respect for him would go up quite a bit. He still has to, comply with the law when it comes to illegals, but he would still get a little bit more of my respect if he would do something like that. And I think he would get a lot of people's respect if he did.
Hey, just while I have you on the phone, and I know we want to focus on this city council meeting and getting people there to speak against increasing our property taxes, but I thought you would get a kick out of this. I don't know if you heard it yesterday, but I happened to be listening to the Sirius XM broadcast of the NASCAR race in Nashville over the weekend. I was riding my bike, and they called Freddie out. I mean, they didn't call him by name, but they called it out. I mean, in Lebanon, the Nashville Superspeedway was a sellout. And they said, we got the Fairgrounds sitting there. Bristol wants to make a deal. They went over the whole thing. So we got the Fairgrounds sitting there. Bristol wants to make a deal. And for some reason, city government won't go ahead and sign on the dotted line. They said, I can't imagine what they don't see about how financially beneficial this would be to downtown Nashville. And Chase Elliott's on board. And they named all of the different drivers that are just 100% on board. And they talked about some of the past history with the Nashville Fairgrounds, with Darrell Waltrip and all of the guys that raced there up until 1984 when they stopped NASCAR races there. I mean, and they were laying it down and calling city government out for not making a move on what is an incredibly financially beneficial deal for the city of Nashville. And I loved it. Absolutely loved hearing it.
Yeah. See, that's what doesn't make sense. If basically he's leaving money on the table. It's just sitting there for him to collect, and he won't move on that. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Well, I mean, I think it is the same type of thing that he did with this with these ice raids, right? Or these ice stops. He defaults to protect the parts of the community that either aren't there, that don't really exist, or these minute slivers of the community that apparently he's talking to over in Salem Town that don't reflect or represent the greater Davidson County area.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, I mean, he apparently all he talks to when it comes to the fairgrounds is Colby Sledge, the former representative over there, and Terry Vo, the current representative over there, who do the bidding of what's his name over at the at Geodis Park.
Oh, John Ingram?
Oh, yeah.
You mean John Ingram?
Yeah, John Ingram, who, by the way, y'all get your recorders ready and hit record and play. By the way, who is holding millions of dollars as bait to the city of Nashville, saying that he will give it to affordable housing if he gets that property. And I know it's true. I know it's true. And John, come on the show and deny it. I'd love to hear you denying it. Anyway, but
affordable housing.
Whatever.
See, and again, let's go back to it would be affordable housing if you wouldn't raise my property taxes.
Well, that's right. I mean, simultaneously, Freddie tells us that we need more affordable housing in the city of Nashville. And, oh, by the way, your property taxes are going up 27%.
Which means your rent's going up if you rent. Yeah. Everything will go up.
Well, so you're signing up to speak.
Yeah, I'll speak now. So what we're going to do is we're going to rally on the courthouse steps. It's the historic courthouse downtown. Just Google it. You can find it. And we're going to rally out there at 5 o'clock. And then at 6:30, city council meeting starts. So we'll start, moseying on in there probably around 6 or so to get a seat. And then if anybody wants to speak, you can sign up to speak. Because they have public comments before they even start the meeting. So anybody can sign up to do that. And I would encourage people to do that and plead with them to listen to the taxpayer. And you have to be a resident of Davidson County, by the way, to speak. But I would encourage people to do that. But you do not have to be a resident to come out and rally with us. And remember, and this is true, Matt, if you live in Rutherford or Wilson or Montgomery or Sumner or Williamson or whatever surrounding county, this issue affects you as well because
100%.
If he makes it unaffordable here, we're moving to your county.
Well, that's right. I mean, and Pamela Furr is an example because you've told me, I think you've said publicly, I think I can share this, that, I mean, considering what you're looking to leave Davidson County.
Yeah.
You are an example of the type of longtime resident of this community that is looking to get out. And what that does, I mean, more power to you. I can't blame you. But what that does, ultimately, it puts more strain when thousands and thousands of people like Pamela are moving to Rutherford or to Sumner or to Wilson or to Williamson or to Murray or wherever it might be. It's putting more strain on those city services, and they're going to have to charge more to their residents to do the things that they're currently doing because of the growth in population. That's just the way that it goes. Yep.
So that being said, as soon as you get off work, come join us for this rally at 5 o'clock before the city council meeting starts at 6:30.
Hey, Sally has a good idea, and I know I got to go, but says, I love you, Pam, but you're high. That's a good way to start a super text. I like that. And so if you think Weasel Freddie O'Connell is not going to raise property taxes, you have to be high. You might be able, this is actually a good idea, you might be able to get them to reduce it by telling them how greatly it would negatively impact the illegal alien community.
I should have thought of that strategy. I didn't even think about that. Sally has a great idea.
Do you understand how these poor migrants in Antioch, how are they going to afford their homes? Please, will one person go to the meeting, sign up for the meeting, and say that? Just say, how are the poor migrants in Antioch going to be able to afford the rent? The rent is too damn high. I look forward to the next. I mean, I know we'll be talking again after the thing begins, and I look forward to it. I mean, get me Ben Cunningham, or I know y'all will be out there. Check in with me, okay?
You got it.
All right, we'll see you.
Bye.
There's Pamela Furr, redheaded stranger we call her. 24 after the hour. That's a great way to start the show. We will talk about Freddie and property taxes. We will talk about Elon Musk and Donald Trump and their relationship. It's all to come on the Matt Murphy Show. Your call's important too. 615-737-9986. All right, I want to spend a moment talking to you about my good friend Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Cover Nash is located right here in Middle Tennessee, hence the name Cover Nash. He covers all things health insurance for you and your family and your loved ones. So, do you know how much you're paying, and do you know if you're paying too much? If you don't know the answer to that question, I want you to call Shane and Cover Nash. He's not there to sell you something. He doesn't sell specific insurance product. As a matter of fact, he shops the entire insurance plan market, and he finds the one that's right for you. You're his customer. The insurance companies are not. Sadly, in a lot of cases, it's the other way around. No more call center agents wasting your time, bills you were never told you were going to get that you get at your front door. Shane will show you how you can access in real time the exact numbers of what you'll be paying and what medical procedures ought to be costing you. I've been in his office and I've seen this. Folks, do not wait to open enrollment. Now is the time to get with Shane Ring and Cover Nash. Cover yourself with insurance and your family through Cover Nash. CoverNash.com is the website, CoverNash.com, or 615-465-0023. 465-0023 for Cover Nash.
A man in the U.S. illegally is wanted for a hit and run in Nashville. These stories and more coming up at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. A lot of reaction to what we were discussing regarding property taxes and the city council getting together tonight to discuss the budget happening downtown. The rally, the event, the protest happening. Easy for me to say at about 5 o'clock this afternoon in front of the old historic Nashville courthouse. And Fur was right. I doubted her, and I looked it up. I Googled it like she told me to. Historic Nashville courthouse. And it did. It took me right there. It's right there downtown. Who know? I mean, I guess it's historic because it was built in 1936.
It's pretty historic.
I suppose so. It's almost 100 years old. One way or the other, a lot of reaction. Reactions such as 6066 says, Courtney Johnston is fake. Like she's AI. She's a fake. Every time there's an issue that she can take a stand on, she's absent for the vote. She's a fraud. My response, I think, feel what you want to feel about Courtney Johnston. I'm not here to tell you how to feel about her, but she's the least of the worries down there at the Metro Council. I mean, say what you want about her. At least she is sane. And I do not believe that. I think she's taking a stand on LPRs. I think she took a stand on FUSIS and a few other issues. Now, maybe she's missed some votes that I'm not aware of. One way or the other, we will discuss that. And breaking news. I have breaking. Can I get a little something real quick before Ken Weaver? Can I get a little? This is breaking news. The Tennessee Appeals Court has come out with a ruling on whether or not the state can reduce the size of the Metro Council from 40 to 20. And unless Ken Weaver snakes me and beats me to the punch, I'll tell you that news coming up in a minute on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, an illegal immigrant, the prime suspect in a hit and run from May 18th. Metro Police say arrest warrants have been issued against 32-year-old Tony Gebian Lopez Infante for the May 18th hit-and-run crash that seriously injured 21-year-old Zachary Carriage while he was crossing Church Street. Lopez is from Venezuela. He's also wanted in Williamson County. Metro Police say federal partners, including Homeland Security investigations, are helping to find him. Meanwhile, Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles is commenting on the search for the driver while a federal investigation he pushed for plays out.
Ogles wrote here in this social media post that Mayor O'Connell is more focused on obstructing federal immigration enforcement than he is on protecting the people of the city. For the last couple of weeks, Ogles has pushed for more answers after the mayor requested the names and charges against the people arrested by ICE. In that process, the mayor signed an executive order, and through that, the names of some ICE agents involved in arrests were made public. The mayor says that was never the intention and that their names were immediately taken down from online.
Right now in Rutherford County, Bridgestone Americas says it's going to shut down the tire plant in Laverne on July 31st, meaning 658 people will be losing their jobs. Bridgestone says it's to increase efficiency and competitiveness. Elon Musk speaking out on the Trump spending bill. He posted to X, it is a, quote, disgusting abomination. He says it's pork-filled and shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong and you know it. Karen Travers has more from the White House. Says President Trump's talking to Republican senators who they don't like it either.
The president is doing that personal outreach with phone calls and in-person meetings that will continue likely over the next couple of weeks. He has set that July 4th deadline for the Senate to pass this, get it back to the House, have the House pass it, and then get it to the president's desk for his signature. That is a very ambitious timeline.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police say there's a crash 24 downtown westbound right before 65 north there at the split. Also a crash with the right shoulder block 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane. And then a crash 21st Avenue South just north of Woodlawn Drive. 24 westbound near Old Hickory Boulevard North over in Whites Creek. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Defend Systems is a life safety and security consultation firm based right here in Middle Tennessee. Their expertise with Brink Fiddler at the helm and so many great people, Gloria, Tracy, Adam, and the rest of the crew in his employ. Their training and their knowledge informs everything that they do at Defend Systems. They can help you if you're a business owner, if you're the leader in a church or the decision maker at a school, any place that people gather. If you want your facility to be more secure, more safe, better prepared for the unlikely event that something bad should happen, then it's time to call Defend Systems in any and all of these circumstances. They engage in active response training, active shooter response, I should say, workplace violence situations, emergency and intruder action plans, rapid response medical training, and it's all designed and customized to your facility and to your staff. Call today. Reach out, 615-236-6484, 236-6484, or go to defendsystems.com. That's defendsystems.com for our friends at Defend Systems. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hello, my name is Matt Murphy. I hope you're having a good Tuesday thus far. I failed in the pleasantries at the beginning of the show. Got into it with, well, not into it with Pamela Furr, but got into a conversation with Pamela Furr. And failed to remind you that it's day 135 of 1460.5 of the presidential second term of Donald J. Trump. It is also day 822 of our visits together. 822. Feels just like yesterday. It was 821. And you can find us on a variety of platforms to include Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart. If you go the app route, you can download our own. Just go to your app store and hit us up at Supertalk 99.7 WTN. And then, of course, there is Talk TV for all of you masochists in the listening audience that want to look at my ugly mug. I don't know why you would. Maybe it's for the occasional glimpse of Weber and Weaver. That's probably what it's about. Go to Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. Oh, is it up there? Oh, ooh, yikes. Yikes.
I resemble that remark.
The smiling face of somebody that's done something that they don't want you to know about. what that is. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch. And we thank you for being there. And, give us the old thumbs up button. I don't beg you. I don't hang my children over your head like some hosts I know.
Shameless.
I mean, come on. Hey, you know what? What I'd like to do is if we could get his likes up to a certain amount, if I could get him to a point with his likes one day that he would agree to take his kids to Disney World, which would be like hell on earth for him.
Oh, that'd be fun, wouldn't it?
I don't know how to work. I need to figure out how to work that out. I need to figure out what the bet would be. If we can do this, you go to Disney World with your eldest child, because I wouldn't want to put your youngest through all of that. Have you been to Disney World lately?
No, I was young, very young.
I was too.
Yeah, been to Disneyland several years ago. That was a blast.
I hear that Disneyland is weird because it just, especially for those who have been to Disney World, because it's such a huge place that Disneyland is much more compact.
Disneyland is like a normal amusement park size.
Nice.
And the time I went, it was gorgeous weather. Crowds were very, manageable. I had a great time at Disneyland.
Well, I have two huge reasons that if I find myself at any amusement park, it's going to be at Dollywood. Two huge reasons. Her humanitarian efforts.
Oh, yeah.
And the proximity.
Sure.
Right down the road. Those are the two big.
That's what I was thinking about.
Is that what you were thinking?
Totally.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so like us over on Talk TV, we appreciate you. So here's the breaking news, the big breaking news. Did Ken steal my story? Was he good to me? Were you good to me, Weaver?
I did not steal it, Brother Murphy. I'm looking at it right now.
This is pretty good. So a Tennessee appeals court has revived a state Republican effort to cut the size of the Nashville Metro Council from 40 to 20. The 2-1 decision released today reverses a lower court ruling and hands the state a significant victory in its ongoing legal battle with Metro. If the appeal ruling stands, and one believes that it will, the council will be reduced to 20 members following the upcoming election, which, if I'm not mistaken, Ken, that's in 27. Is that feels right? 27?
What's that again?
The next time that the city council gets elected. The next election cycle, I want to say it's 27. I'm going to look it up. But, yeah, I think the mayor is on the same cycle as the city council, so I think that would be 2027. The 23. It was last year that old Freddie Boy, or a year and a half ago that old Freddie Boy was elected. Republican lawmakers approved the law to shrink the council in 23 amid a battle between state and local leadership. The law would have shrunk the size of the council after the August 2023 election. There you go. Courts initially delayed the law and ruled that it violated the Tennessee Constitution because it was an attempt to single out Nashville. Lawmakers at the time, and I had them on the show, many different lawmakers, to include Jack Johnson over in the Senate. I think we had William Lamberth on this subject, if I'm not mistaken, the Senate, the House Majority Leader. They said, no, it applies to all municipalities. We need to make sure that our municipalities don't go crazy. Did y'all know, for you newbies out there, the Metro Council of Nashville is the third largest city council in the United States of America. Did y'all know that? Third. The only ones larger, I'm 99% I have this correct, are Chicago and New York. Two of the largest cities in the United States of America. Now, Nashville's big, but it ain't that big. And we have 40 different city councilors for Davidson County. It's ridiculous, and it needs to shrink. And one would believe that if you shrink it, maybe you get some more, sane people in there. I don't know. The divided appeals court disagreed with the initial ruling, saying the law was constitutionally sound because it could apply to Nashville and to future metropolitan councils. Quote, there is simply nothing in the language of the Constitution to prevent the Tennessee General Assembly from imposing its own limit on the voting membership of a metro council, the ruling states. The city, obviously, could seek a review from the Tennessee Supreme Court. Metro Associate Law Director Allison Bussell said in a statement, We are understandably disappointed and concerned about this ruling's implication for local sovereignty. You don't have any local sovereignty, lady. What are you talking about? A lot of people get this wrong. And I want to disabuse Ms. Allison Bustle of her attitude about this. Municipal government serves at the pleasure of the state, as does the federal government. Y'all follow? Now, I understand that it is generally considered good conservative government, that government serves best, that serves most closely to the population impacted by its decision-making, which is why we have municipalities to begin with, to serve in that capacity. But those municipalities are there at the pleasure of the state. The federal government is there at the pleasure of the state. Everything hinges on the states and the people, respectively, per the Constitution of the United States of America. Ms. Bustle continues, we are encouraged by Judge Kenny Armstrong's compelling dissent. We are digesting the ruling and evaluating our options. Well, your options are to seek an appeal to the Tennessee Supreme Court, which I would hope would take the case up immediately, rule in favor of the state of Tennessee, and move on with it and redraw those lines and get some new voting happening in 2027, which is when the next voting process takes place in Davidson County. Tony is next up in Nashville with a thought on property taxes. Hello, Tony. Welcome.
Hey, man. How you doing today?
I'm great, Tony. I'm glad you called.
Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Just a few things I would like to say, and then I'll get off and let you respond to them. First of all, I'm going to make a point by saying I'm a black taxpayer in Davidson County. I've said that so I can make this point. If you want to stop some of these tax hikes, you need to call out the black lawmakers that's on the council. Because I had a discussion with one of them one time, and really I didn't have a discussion with them. I just questioned them and called them out in front of some other black folks. When Mayor Cooper increased our property taxes by 34%, he wanted to talk about, how he did this and how he did that. Actually, he was making it a race thing, how it's going to hurt the elderly black in the neighborhood. So I responded to him by asking him a question. I said, there are enough black votes on that council to not pass that. So how is it that all of them voted for it, including you? And you're supposed to be for black folks in this neighborhood. He looked around and seen all the other black guys looking at him and listened to the conversation. He hurried up and backed out of the conversation and left. Now, if you got the guts to do this, those black council members down there, they need to be called out and be named because it's public record how they vote for it. And they need to stop talking about all this systemic racism and how white men and white people are doing this to us, and they getting right along in there with those Democrats and passing all these bills. Number two is one of the most egregious statements I ever heard is that whenever they build something in here, just like this stadium, they say, "Oh, it's going to bring in so much revenue." Well, if it's going to bring in so much revenue, why you got to go up on our taxes?
That's a great question. It's a great question.
Now, I want you to remember back, and this drives this point home. You remember the first presidency of Trump when they was trying to impeach him, and they gave the gavel to a black man, to a black guy. Who was it?
was Thompson. Bernie
No,
Thompson.
it was John
You talking
Lewis.
about Bernie Thompson? Or well, it might have been John Lewis. I don't
It was
know.
John Lewis. That was to show black people in America, hey, we not prejudiced. So look, we got a black man up here trying to kick him out. That was the whole point of it. But then, if you remember back, Trump went to him and asked him, why are you doing this? Why are you in this game with them? Why aren't you not taking care of your people in Baltimore? And he further asked him, he said you was appropriated $1.6 billion to help your people. Where the money at?
Let me ask you. Let me ask you a broader question, Tony.
Yes, sir.
Do you mind? I mean, you've been around for a little bit. You've seen.
Yes,
I mean, I don't want to ask you your age, but you've been around a time or two. You've followed politics for a while.
Yes, sir.
Do you believe that the Democrats truly have the best interest of black Americans at heart?
I'm going to take you a step further than that. The Democrats are built up on the foundation of the Ku Klux Klan. Go back and study history. George Wallace, he was a member of the Ku Klux Klan.
Robert Byrd, Klan
Jerome
member.
Thurman. This is the reason why black people are getting used, because they don't know history, and Democrats are trying to destroy it because it points back to them. When they was passing the Civil Rights Bill, every Democrat on the Hill voted against it.
That's right.
Everyone.
What didn't Al Gore Sr. vote against it?
Al Gore Sr. was the leading catalyst.
Right.
That's the reason why they kicked him off the Hill. See,
I mean, right? Yeah, and Tony, you have such a depth of knowledge of this because you've lived through it, you've experienced it, you've seen it with your own eyes, and you understand. And your voice is so important in this. I'm a white boy. I can only say so much. It takes the African American community to stand
Absolutely.
up and to say, you know what? We're sick of this. We're sick of being used. We're sick of being treated like a block group of people that are just there for votes. You know, the Democrats come sniffing around when it's time to vote, but I don't see them in the communities helping out when it's not voting time.
That's right. Let me give you a piece of information, and you can look up on YouTube, and it's clear as day. Malcolm X, back in the early 60s, tried to warn black people about Democrats. Just look it up and you'll see what he said. He said you got a Democratic Party that 80% or 90% of the black vote put them in office, and they was controlling over 2/3 of the government, and they can't do nothing for you. But then you keep on voting for them. And he further said, if you vote for these people, you are a traitor to your race. It's up at.
I hear you. You're
and
right.
one thing he said, I'm sorry, take up your time.
Yeah, we got it, but I got to scoot quick. But go ahead.
He made this statement. When his eyes was open, he says, "I'm for truth, no matter who says it." He said, "I'm for justice, no matter who administers it." And see, and Democrats got them voting for them just because Joe Biden said, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." Who the hell do you think he is?
Wow. Sadly, Tony, I don't think Joe Biden knows anymore. Thank you for the call. I got to scoot. 54 after the hour. Well said. Good call. 615-737-9986. Back after this. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds is taking financing rates all the way down to, wait for it now, Zero. That's right. Right now, only at Genesis. Pay nothing down and get zero interest for 5 years on any purchase in the store. Handcrafted Tacori ring. GIA certified diamond is only $100 a month. Wedding bands, color bands, fashion necklaces, $40 a month. Pick any item, pay zero down, and spread your payments over 5 years. Even the sales tax. How about that amazing? I mean, this is the time. If you've got a special anniversary or a birthday coming up, or even a just because, you can hit that home run, and it does not have to break the bank, and you're doing it with zero interest. 0.0 for 5 years. That's all the way to year 2030. This makes everything more affordable. It's just the smartest way to do it. Do not miss this amazing offer. Now, obviously, it's on approved credit. See store for details. Green Hills and Cool Springs. Friends, all natural and all lab-grown diamonds are included in this offer, and it's now through June 30th. Get to Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs. All right, so the Nashville, the Wellness Institute of Nashville, I should say, has a brand new special to offer you. You know, they've been running their 47% off special for the 47th president of the United States. Well, here's the deal. It occurred to, you know, Dr. Kevin Mitchell, Dr. Ashley, and the rest of the crew that, you know, they tried 34 times to get the president of the United States. And what did we get? We got the big 47. That's why they are rolling out with the American people the big 34. This 34 is not a lie. This month they're offering $34 presidential special. Get your first consultation, x-rays if you need, and your first treatment for $34. Trump did not give up on the American people, and Dr. Ashley and Dr. Mitchell are not giving up on you. When it comes to back pain, knee pain, neck pain, hip pain, elbow pain, wherever it hurts, they are in the trenches fighting to help you win this battle of pain. You can live a life free of pain. Enjoy the things you used to do. Be happy with your life. No more back pain, neck pain, no more tingling in the arms or legs. It is possible, and there are no pills or spinal creams that open the spinal disc to take the pressure off. You need spinal decompression to do that. It is possible with the Wellness Institute of Nashville. Painisbad.com, painisbad.com, or 615-246-5009. Tell them I sent you.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, the Tennessee Appeals Court has revived the state legislature's effort to cut the number of Metro Council members from 40 to 20. The goal of the General Assembly's 2023 Small Government Efficiency Act was to address what supporters said was effectiveness of the Nashville legislative branch. And according to the bill, any local governmental body in Tennessee with more than 20 voting members would be required to dissolve and reappropriate current districts with the latest census data. Vice Mayor Angie E. Henderson out with a statement saying she's disappointed in the appeals court decision. She says it fails to respect the will of Nashville voters, and she looks forward to discussing the next steps with Metro's legal department. Also in Nashville, Metro Police say an illegal immigrant is the prime suspect from a May 18th hit and run that seriously injured a 21-year-old man trying to cross Church Street. Police say 32-year-old Venezuelan national Tony Gebian Lopez Infante was a driver of the Mitsubishi Mirage that was later located at a rental garage in Mount Juliet with front-end damage. Metro Police say federal partners, including Homeland Security investigations, are helping to find him. And the wife and children of the suspect in this weekend's Colorado attack have been taken into custody now by ICE and HSI. That's Homeland Security investigations in Colorado.
The family is being, we understand, processed right now for expedited removal out of the U.S. Remember, Solomon, we know, was in the country illegally, overstayed a work visa. It would seem his family probably was in the country illegally as well, that they are now in custody and getting ready for removal from the U.S.
In our nation's capital, congressional leaders are responding to Elon Musk, calling the Trump tax bill a, quote, disgusting abomination. Musk posting to X, it's pork-filled, and shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. Well, Senate Majority Leader John Thune.
We obviously respect everything that Elon did with Doge. On this particular issue, we have a difference of opinion.
Yeah, what about a Democrat's opinion? Chuck Schumer.
Musk's opposition shows how bad, if even Elon Musk, who's been part of the whole process and is Trump's buddy, says the bill is bad, you can imagine how bad this bill is.
Yeah, President Trump setting a July 4th deadline to get that thing passed. Student loan debt update. Garnishment of Social Security benefits for student loan borrowers who have defaulted has been paused. The halt comes after the Trump administration last month retreated from another type of Social Security benefit clawback, went and announced it would only take 50% of a person's monthly check to recover overpayments, down from a previously announced 100%. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, police reporting a crash 24 downtown westbound right before the 65 north split, and then 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane. You got the right shoulder blocked there. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hello, kids. It's hour number 2 of the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm your buddy, your friend, your cousin, off in the corner screaming and yelling. I don't know. I just saw where there's somebody on the social medias that refers to me as Cousin Matt. I think that's in some fashion in relation to Uncle Phil, and for that I consider it an honor.
Yeah, that's a term of endearment, I would think.
I'll be your crazy cousin.
Yeah.
Sure. My cousin Eddie.
Yeah. Cousin-in-law.
Even better. If I woke up tomorrow with my head sewn to the carpet, I wouldn't be more surprised than I am right now.
You serious, Clark?
That's awesome. There's Ken Weaver. He's back in News Closet B. He got his headlines for a living and presents them twice an hour and when it breaks. There's Chris Weber. He's behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. And I am Matt. I'm in my night. What color would you call this shirt? Peach?
Orange. Orange and white.
I mean, I don't think
that's Tennessee Vol colors right there.
Oh, stop it with that.
I'm telling you.
Oh, boy.
I'm not wearing this again. The last time I'm wearing this. I won't be accused of all that. Hey, how'd our Bulldogs do in the World Series baseball deal?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I didn't watch.
Apparently, football season's right around the corner. That's all I know. Weren't your Sooners Weaver?
Yes, sir.
Weren't your Sooners in the softball thing?
Yes, sir.
And
we got beat.
Oh
no, not gonna do 5 in a row. Gonna stop us at 4.
Y'all had 4 in a row, 4 championships in a row.
Yeah.
Wow,
man.
Yeah, got beat by a millionaire pitcher from Texas Tech. Paid her $1 million.
What?
To pitch
in softball?
In softball.
Like
softball.
College softball.
College women's softball.
$1 million.
Yes.
And she's still throwing underhand?
Yes.
Holy shnikes. Look, I don't say anything about that. Have you seen when they put those pitchers on the mound and they put those and the major leaguers are just not ready for like
the angle. Yeah.
The angle of how it's coming.
Yeah.
But watching some of those women that I mean, it's the equivalent. I think they get up to almost 70 miles an hour, but it's the equivalent of like 100 miles an hour.
Yeah.
To the plate, and the major leaguers can't handle it.
Nope.
Man, they cannot handle it. I love seeing it. I love seeing them look foolish. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, Ken. I was asking genuinely. I did not know the answer to my question when I asked it.
It's all right. I mean, now let's see. Sooners ain't doing anything until football season. Let's hope they do something then.
Hey, I heard. I saw a list just while we're talking about the foosball.
Yeah.
I saw a list where the Sooners were like top 15 in the, I don't know what the FPI is or the, what, I mean, it's like some sort of ranking system that ESPN utilizes.
Yeah.
Our Dogs were number dose.
Nice.
There, Mr. Weber. But the Sooners were in the top 15.
Well, I don't subscribe to that.
Bounce back season, baby.
Yeah, we'll see.
For the Sooners. We don't play, do we?
Nope.
Not till the SEC championship.
Not till the championship. Yes, sir.
Yeah. There you go. That's what I'm talking about.
And hopefully it's in Oklahoma City and not Atlanta.
I would count on that.
You know, y'all act like we got some sort of advantage. Come on. Yeah. It's almost an hour away from Athens.
Two totally different cities.
I mean, Athens is way over there. Atlanta's way over there. And Oklahoma's way
over there. Every time we have to play an SEC team in a championship matchup, let's see. Well, except for the Rose Bowl. That was definitely neutral.
I liked that.
That was over on the West Coast.
Oh, man. That got listed as one of the, I think I told you, it's like one of the top 10 games of the 2000s.
Oh, it was. That was a great game.
So good. I could watch that.
Great game.
It's funny. I could watch those games that we come out victorious. I could watch them.
You can watch those all day.
Over and over.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
You know how many times I have seen, absent the one time that I saw it, the 2017 national championship game?
I can take a guess. Probably less than one.
Exactly. I didn't even finish it.
Yeah.
I went down to No. This was before. No, that was the SEC championship game. There was the SEC championship game that I've never seen again, that I did not see the end of, because I was in Nashville for the 2021 SEC championship. We eventually won that, and we beat them when we got to the national championship. But I left the Valentine's Bar is where the Georgia fans go to watch games on Broadway, and I was there, and I left at the end of the third quarter, and by the time Stetson Bennett was throwing pick sixes or whatever the hell he was doing, I was at Tootsie's. You all liquored up.
You left, or you were asked to leave?
No. That was that.
I just want to clarify.
No, that was the game we won, and they asked me to leave because I was they said if you keep that up, you're going to have to leave. And I was like, buddy, my team just won a national championship, first time in 40 years. I'm going to yell. And he goes, well, you can leave. I was like, well, yeah, maybe I will leave.
You can leave.
And then everybody started talking like that. Jerk. All I was doing was celebrating.
You're just celebrating a little bit, Brother Murphy.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Howling at the moon. Congratulations. Football season, apparently, I think it's 80 days away.
Football!
Right in that neighborhood. We got more, frankly, more important things to discuss. There's a city council budget meeting that happens today. There's a protest at 5 o'clock. We've been telling you about that. We'll have more on that next hour. A lot of folks want to talk about Elon Musk, and rightly so.
Boy.
Look, friends. I think I'm well on record as saying that this was a bad bill that was passed out of the House. It did not go far enough. We have one chance at this. We will never see more attention drawn to the fact that America is overspending, and overspending by a lot of money. I want to go over with you some of the I just want to pull up for you the amounts over the years, over the last, let's say, 20 years, that the United States of America has overspent. I have the U.S. budget deficit right here on my handy-dandy handheld computer. I have the U.S. budget deficit from 2000 to 2024, okay? So over the last 24 years of our country's existence, how much have we overspent? Now, what is a budget deficit? I think you would understand this, but allow me to explain it so those of you in Aniana can figure it out, okay? So if you bring in X amount of dollars and you spend more money than you bring in, you are operating at a deficit, revenue to expenditures. And that is your budgetary deficit in your household, and that would be your budgetary deficit for the United States of America. So for a long, long time now, since the 1990s, the United States of America has consistently spent more money than we bring in annually. It is fiscal irresponsibility of the highest order. And only if we see emergency declarations, only if we see things like times of war, should we ever consider overspending. You have to prioritize. Adult people who aren't solely interested in their reelection campaigns, grown people who understand math, would either spend less or charge you more as taxpayers. Be honest enough and have the intestinal fortitude, the, dare I say, cojones, to look at the American people and say, we need this budget bill. We need this defense spending. We need this entitlement plan. We need this additional Medicaid funding. We need this energy funding. We need this project. We need this infrastructure. Whatever it is. Look at the American people and say, in order to spend the amount of money that we need for this project, we're going to have to go up on your taxes. But they don't do that, boy. No, they don't. They let the piper pay the bill down the road. There are two things that are holding us back from spending responsibly in the United States of America. Well, there's more than two. There's 435 in the House, and there's 100 in the Senate. But the two primary things that cause us more anxiety when it comes to our budgetary procedures than anything. One, the elected officials don't really care that we're overspending because we never hold them to account as a result. We never do. And because they come home and they blame the other guy, even the conservatives. And I'm just getting a belly full of it, and I wonder if you are as well. And you're welcome to pipe in on this, 615-737-9986. This is not a rant against our man Donald Trump. He can only do so much. He can only call attention to it. Elon Musk obviously can only call attention to it. It takes the House and the Senate to actually pass responsible budgetary measures in order to get anything done. And I am getting sick to death. And I've been doing it. I'm not calling in a chip with the amount of time that I've done this, but it's been a quarter of a century now. And I've had as my pa would say, a belly full of these so-called conservatives. And you're going to hear them, and I'm going to be nice to them, and that's the way that it goes, right? You'll hear from Mark Green. Well, he doesn't come on the show anymore for some reason, but whatever. You'll hear from Andy Ogles. You'll hear from Tim Burchett. You'll hear from Scott Desjardins. You'll hear from David Kustoff. You might hear from Chuck Fleischman if we ever get him on the show. You'll hear from all these folks. John Rose. And they all say the same thing. You know, Matt, boy, I wanted to cut. I wanted to spend conservatively. If it were up to me, we'd balance that budget. But, sadly, there's just not enough of me up there. And it's not my fault. Don't blame me. I'm one of the good guys. And sadly, people believe it. And they reelect them. And so they overspend, and they overspend, and they overspend, and they overspend, and they overspend. And the chickens never come home to roost for these people because of point number 2. They're long gone. They go up there, they work 3 days a week, they make their cash, they get rich in Washington, D.C. doing this. Rich. And it makes me want to puke how rich they get while they charge our children and our grandchildren and our great-grandchildren. I mean, they essentially destroy the future of this country while getting rich. And it's not just their salaries. Oh, no, far from it. I'm mad. Don't get me started. I'm mad as hell.
Are you being laughed at? What is it?
I was. So apparently I was on a particularly, I was on a toot.
Mm-hmm.
I was on a little bit of a rant, and I look out of the corner of my eye, and the general manager was laughing at me.
In fact, that's what she said. She said, it sounds like Brother Murphy's on a toot.
I am on a toot. My goodness gracious. If we ran this company the way that the United States of America runs it's just ridiculous. And yet they do it. And sadly, I have discovered, and I'm telling y'all, I'm going to stick by this because my blood pressure gets way too high on this.
Yes, sir.
If we can't see a path forward, if we can't see the end of this tunnel when it comes to budget deficits and overspending, I am not foolish enough to believe that we have to get out of this in a year or can get out of it in a year. I understand that. I'm reasonable. I don't believe that we could get out of this in 2 years. But if you can't tell me how we balance our budget by the end of the Trump term, by 2028, what are we doing? What the hell are we doing? What that indicates to me, because we have a majority Republican in the House, and last I checked, 53 Republicans in the Senate. And I expect Democrats to be Democrats, just like I expect sharks to be sharks and alligators to be alligators. But these smiling conservatives who come on my radio show and go on Fox News and go on these other conservative outlets, and they smile and they talk about how hard they're trying to balance that budget. And boy, oh boy, if we just had this or that or the other thing. And you understand, it's always an excuse with these people. It's always an excuse with these people. And at some point, I got to get busy living or get busy dying. Why do I expend emotional energy talking about it if the American people don't care about it? And we don't, apparently. Because if we did, we'd be taking pitchforks and torches and taking to the streets and saying something about it. But what I think we want is to live high on the hog until the party's over. I genuinely believe that. I think that even people who like to complain about it, even people that, like me, see what's going to happen, they're just like, let's just burn this mother down, boys. Let's just have a party. Let's just overspend. You get everything. Everybody gets free money. Free money for everybody. Let's overspend until this thing just burns to the ground. Because that's what's going to happen sooner or later, unless we stop it. If you want to know what Elon Musk is saying, that's exactly what Elon Musk is saying. Meanwhile, these people that tell you that they have your interest in mind, they work 3 days a week. And they're telling us that it might be just a little bit too hard to get anything done by July 4th. And you know, really, when you're talking about getting something done by July 4th, you got to get it done the week before because, they're not working that week. And, they got to take a few weeks off during the summer. And then, of course, there's August recess. And before you know it, they got to do some campaigning back home, raise money, get on the chicken dinner circuit. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of all of them. And more of my attention and more of my frustration and more of my ire is directed at the people that claim that they know better and they want to do better. Because you don't seem to want to do better. If you did, you know what the president ought to do? If I were advising President Trump, I would advise him to have a primetime national address to the American people. And explain to the American people what I'm telling you now. That I'm doing my best. But contrary to what the left would have you believe. As a matter of fact, I'm going to give you the address that the president needs to give you in just a second. I'm not going to do that now. Elon Musk is right. This is a disgusting piece of overspent pork. And if the Senate doesn't do something with it, and it doesn't seem like they're going to, it's going to be a continuation of policies that got us $37 trillion in debt. It reminds me, and people ask me, why do you get so mad about this, Matt? Why do you get so mad about it? There's an old story. The American essayist and philosopher Ralph Waldo Emerson was friends with Henry David Thoreau. And, author of such great works as Civil Disobedience and the like. And Henry David Thoreau was protesting an environmental issue. And I want to say this had to do with Walden Pond, but I might be mistaken. And as the story goes, and some say it never happened, and some say it did, but it's a good story. As the story goes, Henry David Thoreau could not bail himself out of jail. And he called didn't call, but he communicated with his friend Emerson and asked Emerson to come help him out of jail. And when Emerson got to jail, after Thoreau had protested this issue that he was very passionate about, Emerson looked at him and said, well, Henry David, why in the world are you in there? And Thoreau looked at him and said, the better question is, why are you out there? I don't understand why we don't do more about this. And I'm just going to stop talking about it. 25 after the hour on Super Talk. And then there are the people that say, Murphy, how do you sleep at night? And I say, very well, thank you very much, because of my oral appliance, from the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. Dr. Brian McLaughlin recently got me in and said, hey, we need to make sure that everything is working as it should. And I re-upped my sleep study to make sure that I was sleeping through the night, and I got great marks because of my oral appliance, my FDA-approved oral appliance from the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. When you have your custom fabricated appliance, it comes to you, I mean, it's specific to your mouth. They do a 3D scan of your mouth, and it is for you and you alone. Why? Because they want to gently hold that jaw forward, form-fitting to your mouth, so you sleep better, your airway stays open, and you have a blissful, energetic morning the next day because of the wonderful sleep that you have that night. That's what it's all about at the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. 2 locations, Murfreesboro and Brentwood, and, of course, they're in network with most insurance companies in the state of Tennessee. I encourage you to make the call that so many others have made. Look them up online at TennesseeSleep.com. That's TennesseeSleep.com for the Sleep Apnea and TMJ Solution Center. You know, Aaron Stokes has been building the brand of Eurofix for 26 years now. It all started in a little single-wide trailer in a barn in the backyard, and now he has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 separate locations. And the latest location is the great facility in Mount Juliet. I love seeing this facility on South Mount Juliet Road. I go by it quite often. Right across the street from the Dairy Queen, so you can get yourself a dip cone while they do a 15-minute no-wrench inspection on your European automobile. European car repair needs, they are needed in a timely fashion, and they do that at Eurofix. You need them close to you, and they've got those 5 locations to serve you. And they've announced that new location in MJ to include Franklin, 100 Oaks, Murfreesboro, Belmead, and now, of course, the Mount Juliet location. Started in a barn in a backyard, and now 5 locations repairing thousands of cars every month with a 3-year warranty and a free loaner car for every repair visit. Call 844-EUROFIX for more info or myEurofix.com.
Well, the Tennessee legislature's effort to cut the size of Metro Nashville's council is revived. This story and more coming up at 4:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So very quickly, it's almost 4:30 right now. I ran long, ranting and raving about an issue that I believe is going to destroy the United States of America. I fully believe it. And we the people, are going to allow that to happen because, sadly, a lot of us don't pay any attention, and those of us that do pay enough attention, I'm not trying to cast aspersions, as they say, or blame you, but I mean, I've just been doing it too long, and we talk about it, but this is the best chance. I thought this had a shot, and it does not appear that it's going to get anything done. It'll slow down the deficit progress, but I'll go over the deficit numbers with you here in just a moment and tell you what I think the president should say to the American people as a result. And you ask, I mean, invariably I'm asked, what should we do? You should call your representatives and demand more. Demand that they stay in Washington, D.C. Demand that they work longer than just 3 days a week. Demand that they don't come home and act like they're serving their constituency. You would be better served by them staying in Washington, D.C. and cutting the damn budget. I know, but I got to go home to the rubber chicken circuit. We got the picnics and just gotta get those picnics, don't you? It's time for news.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. And right now in Middle Tennessee, the legislature's effort to cut the size of Metro Nashville's council is revived. An appeals court ruling in favor today of the General Assembly's 2023 Small Government Efficiency Act, legislation to address what supporters said was the effectiveness of Nashville's legislative branch. According to the bill, any local governmental body in Tennessee with more than 20 voting members would be required to dissolve and reappropriate current districts with the latest census data. Meanwhile, Vice Mayor Angie E. Henderson is out with a statement saying she's disappointed in the appeals court decision, says it fails to respect the will of Nashville voters, and looks forward to discussing the next steps with Metro's legal department. Hundreds of jobs are going away in Laverne at the end of next month. Bridgestone America's tire operations will shut down July 31st. A media release from Bridgestone said the decision to close the facilities due to a need to operate more efficiently and strengthen its competitiveness. It impacts 658 employees there in Laverne. And in our nation's capital, congressional leaders are responding to Elon Musk, calling the Trump tax bill a, quote, disgusting abomination. Posting to X, it's pork-filled, and shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it. Here's Stephen Portnoy.
Now that he's a former White House advisor, Elon Musk calls the GOP measure massive, outrageous, pork-filled, and a disgusting abomination. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells reporters he's very disappointed.
My friend Elon is terribly wrong.
But top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says Musk is right.
Republicans should listen to him.
In the face of estimates that the measure could add nearly $4 trillion to the national debt, its backers say that assessment underestimates the bill's economic benefits. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Got a crash 24 downtown westbound right before 65's north of Split. Then on the south side, right shoulder block. TDOT says it's 40 eastbound after Fessler's Lane. Police say there's a crash Rosa Parks Boulevard at James Robertson Parkway. Also look for Antioch. Police say there's a crash 24 eastbound after Hickory Hollow Parkway. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's hot. I mean, you know that, right? I mean, it's up to 90 degrees today and more of that to come. And, oh, by the way, don't know if you noticed, but it's June, meaning it's just going to get hotter. So if your AC is not working properly, what do? Well, if you listen to me, you call Efficient Heating and Cooling and get those guys out there to check out that system. They're going to cure what ails your AC system, and they're not going to try to upsell you on anything unless it's time. Now, here's the trick. Some people tell you it's time when it's not time. With Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling, they only tell you it's time when it's actually time. How do you know that that's true? Because I'm telling you it is, because I trust them. They are as honest as the day is long. I believe that they're going to try to extend. I mean, that's where they've made their reputation, by trying to extend the life of your unit to make sure you maximize that unit and to minimize the cost. Because if you maximize the years, you're ultimately minimizing the cost per year. Efficient Heating and Cooling understands how to get that done. Jeff Eddy understands how to get that done. So when it's time, if you need a second opinion or if you're worried about your AC going out, let's call Jeff Eddy and Efficient Heating and Cooling. They're an Elite Pro partner with Ream. They can help you with financing. 615-784-4424, 784-4424, or efficienthvac.net. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'd like to tell all of you that I'm in a better humor, but I'm not. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986 if you'd like to be a part of this show. If you want to moan and complain for a little while, you can do that. Or try to make me feel better. I mean, I just started feeling better because I went on the X machine and I saw this video. I just posted it out. You can find it at Matt Murphy Show. That's at Matt Murphy Show on the X machine. I just saw this video of a little girl who was reunited with her donkey that she raised when the donkey was a little baby.
Oh, I've seen that before.
Oh, it's so good.
Yeah, I love that.
Oh, it's so good. That's just another reason to love donkeys. And speaking of donkeys, Mr. Ken Weaver?
Yes, sir.
Do we have any striped donkey updates?
Still out there, dude.
Really?
Still out there. Huh. They've got a volunteer drone outfit trying to help them locate it.
If I have any faith in my people, I'm just going to go ahead and look. Murfreesboro zebra. If we don't have an account for the Murfreesboro zebra already on the X machine, we're doing things wrong.
Oh, yeah. That apparently has already happened.
Uh-huh.
Apparently it's been nicknamed Ed.
Ed?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Ed the zebra.
Ed the zebra. Let's see.
Doesn't seem like it'd be that hard to find.
I wouldn't think it would be.
Oh, look, there's Ed the Zebra right there.
But
I make, oh, well, I don't think that's the one I was thinking of. I make beats. Oh, that guy's been online for 5 years.
His name's Ed the Zebra.
There's a guy named Ed the Zebra that's a rapper. Okay, so yeah, I mean, you would think that a zebra would kind of stand out. You would think. Well, you know.
But I mean, you know, there's some thick woods down there in Rutherford County. Thick woods.
The memes are just delicious, though. I got one of he's getting his hair done. He's getting his highlights put in his hair. You know, he's all over the joint down there in Murfreesboro. I'm telling you, Zebra, go have you one of those sours at Jack Brown's. You'll not regret it. You'll not regret it. I did. You won't either. All right, we'll get to a few of your calls coming up in just a moment. I did promise you this. Look, I'm not going to talk about the debt all day long. Elon Musk is right. There's too much in this bill. And someone asked, well, what would you cut, Murphy? Well, I'll give you an example. The Golden Dome. I mean, if it is that, I wouldn't necessarily cut the project, but I would not add money to the federal deficit in order to pay for it. So the Department of Defense currently receives roughly $1 trillion in federal spending. $1 trillion in federal spending annually. And if they believe that the Golden Dome is that necessary of a project, then they don't need to spend an additional 100. I mean, right now, the Department of Defense in this bill is getting an additional $150 billion on top of the $1 trillion that they got last year. I don't think that's a good expenditure of our money. If you don't believe that we can find savings within the Department of Defense, I just don't know that you're paying attention. They are not a sacred cow to me. And we need to cut there just as we cut elsewhere. We need to cut waste, fraud, and abuse. We need to codify the Doge cuts before you pass this stupid budget. And don't leave Washington, D.C. until you do. You're spending millions of dollars. You know, as an example, on Ukrainian luxury hotels. You're not codifying any of Trump's executive orders. The American people voted for major reform, and it's time that the GOP gave it to them and stopped making excuses. Now, real quick, on the savings front, let me get back to this. Starting in 2000 and oh, by the way, speaking of my ex page, if you go to @MattMurphyShow, I just posted on @MattMurphyShow an image. It's a cartoon image from the fabulous cartoon Bob's Burgers, which is my favorite show going, my favorite scripted show. And remember when I said that Freddie O'Connell looked like Mr. Frond, the guidance counselor on Bob's Burgers? Mm-hmm. We found a better. There was a dance instructor episode. Just go there and see if this is not Freddie O'Connell. I'll show the people on the. Look at that.
Holy crap! That's him. 100%.
100% Freddie O'Connell.
Wow.
Yeah, @Matt Murphy Show. And he's dressed like I imagine Freddie dresses in his private life. He's got tights on. Don't you imagine that Freddie wears tights? I don't know. So the budget deficit starting in 2001 was $128 billion. In 2002, it was $158 billion. Now, understand a budget deficit occurs when the money going out, spending, exceeds the money coming in, revenue, during a defined period. Okay? So 2002, $158 billion. 2003, $378 billion. 2004, $413 billion. 05, $318 billion. This is our deficit spending. 2006, $248 billion. 07, $161 billion. Went down. 08, $459 billion. And then we had the bank bailouts. Remember that from 08 into 09? 09, $1.41 trillion. 10, $1.29 trillion. 11, $1.3 trillion. 12, $1.07 trillion. 13, down to $680 billion. 14, $485 billion. 15, $442 billion. 16, $585 billion. 17, $665 billion. 18, $779 billion. 19, $984 billion. 2020, the American federal government overspent by $3.13 trillion. 2021, $2.77 trillion. 2022, $1.38 trillion. 2023, $1.7 trillion. 2024, $1.83 trillion. So it mildly amuses me when our conservative representatives come on this radio show and tell us that we just need to get back to pre-COVID spending. Oh, when we were overspending by $984 billion? Those are the good old days, the salad days. I'm telling y'all, I might die before it happens, but I hope it doesn't come to it. Remember when Greece tried to go through austerity measures and their population wouldn't put up with it, and they just basically went bankrupt? This happened like in 2012 or 2013. And there was violence on the streets. People freaked out. They started rioting. People got killed. Buildings got burned down. And it was only until none of that calmed down until the European Union bailed them out, bailed the government of Greece out. The exact same thing is going to happen in the United States of America. It is going to be magnified by 100. You tell me who bails us out. I'll wait. Larry's in Clarksville. Hello, Larry. How are you?
Hey, Matt. Well, I'm still above the daisies. Thanks for taking my call. You are absolutely right on this. And I will have your back till the day I pass. But I'll pass a little ammo before I lose. But how do these people, and I'm talking about Republicans and Democrats, how do these people go to Washington for 2.5, maybe 3 days a week, only a few months out of the year, and they come out as multimillionaires? They're not worried about the spending because they're not spending their own damn money. They're spending our money.
Because the lobbyists have learned how to game the system in order to enrich the people whose votes they need. That is the easiest way for me to tell you what is happening.
Well, it is, but, some people need to stand up and tell the lobbyists to kiss their butts.
Well, who's going to do that?
Some people need to actually take care of business. I'm telling you, man.
I'm getting increasingly. I don't mean to be this guy. I really don't, because I think it pushes people away from the process. And Larry, God bless you. I appreciate you. You know how much I love you, and thank you for the call. I don't mean to be this guy, but I've just gotten to the point where I think I would prefer to talk about zebras in Murfreesboro and anything else, because no one seems to really care. I mean, we don't mind complaining about it, and I do my fair share. Don't get me wrong. It doesn't seem to bother people like it bothers me. And I know that y'all will say, no, it bothers me. No, it bothers me. Well, then what do we collectively do about it? I mean, what do y'all want to do about it? Does anybody have any ideas? Anybody at all? Because I get it, that, Mark Green doesn't bother to come on our radio show. I don't think he cares that much about talking to the constituents of the 5th Congressional, the 7th Congressional District. I'm not speaking negatively of Green himself. I'm just telling you the truth. But if he were here, or if Ogles were here, or Burchett, or Desjardins, they'd all say the same thing. They all say the same thing. I wish I could do something about it, they'll say. But there's not enough appetite for it. And, we got to compromise, and we got to do what we can do. This budget, this big, beautiful bill will add $4.5 trillion to the federal deficit over the next 10 years. And by the way, I understand that budgets aren't done budgets aren't done in 10-year cycles, they're done annually. If they're saying it's $4.5 trillion in 10 years, it's actually going to be more like 9 or 10 because they'll find a reason to spend more money. There will always be a crisis that they can excuse spending money on until we shut down the piggy bank. But the American people have no appetite for that, which is why I come to the belief that maybe we should just party and blow it out and just have a great time while we still can. Overspend and, get it up. Hell, I mean, what's the difference between $37 trillion and $50 trillion? Besides $13 trillion. I mean, what's the functional difference? I mean, if it's all paper money. It's all on paper. It doesn't really exist. None of this actually exists. Our American government is so effed up that we have the greatest free market economic engine on planet Earth, and we can't keep up with it. And it's not even close. Because politicians believe that they get reelected by sending free money back home, and they don't get blamed for it. And when we get a freebie, you hear, and no offense to the guy, but yesterday, Jason Gillum was in talking about the Columbia Dam, for example. And I hope that y'all heard that interview. And it was a good conversation. And I'm not against the Columbia Dam, but did you hear how he talked about state money versus federal money? Did you notice that? Every time I have one of those conversations, it's the same thing. Well, and, this isn't state money. This is federal money. As if federal money is somehow special. As if federal money doesn't count. As if federal money is free. Free money, free money, free money, free money. That's why people look at it. Oh, it comes from the federal government. That's free. I don't wish this on us. I don't wish this on us, but if you don't think it's going to happen, the rules of economics disagree with you. And the answer will be, it will be socialism. It's always socialism. You say, well, what happens when we fail? Socialism happens. Centralized socialism that rules you from an ivory tower way far away. That's what happened. 1967 says, where is all the money that Doge saved? Doge did not save money. Doge identified spending and overspending. Doge identified problems. Doge gave Trump the opportunity to cut contracts where he could. Most of the contracts Donald Trump doesn't have the ability to cut because he doesn't hold the purse strings. Money that is already allocated by the Congress is allowed to be spent. That's the problem. That's why they have to codify all of this stuff, guys. And they're not doing any of it. And they're acting like it's so hard. Donald Trump should go before the American people tonight or at some time in the near future and say, I tried, but I can't do everything. And these people don't get it. They don't get that our overspending is going to cripple this United States of America. He should lay out the reality of what happens if we continue to overspend in the fashion that I did. Because when America when you or I go bankrupt, there are people that can absorb that bankruptcy, and we can dig ourselves out of that bankruptcy. There are people that will pick us up. When a business goes bankrupt, there's somebody that can pick them up. When a small country goes bankrupt, there's somebody that can pick them up. When America goes bankrupt, there's nobody to pick us up. And I don't know how many different ways I have to say it. Elon Musk is right. The Congress is wrong. They have no interest in doing the hard things to make America great again. It's 54 after the hour. You know, Father's Day is almost here, and if you got a daddy in your life or you are the daddy and you want to give a little helpful hint as to what you want, how about something from Volunteer Outfitters in Hendersonville? It's the best shop around when it comes to outdoor apparel. I'm talking about anything for the outdoorsman, whether it's the hunter in your life, the fisherman in your life, the golfer in your life, or somebody that just enjoys going out on hikes and whatnot. The outdoorsman goes to Volunteer Outfitters. They've got brands like Southern Marsh, Drake, Huck, and much, much more. I've got my banded pants. I absolutely love these things. You can find them at Volunteer Outfitters. They also have, golfing attire and just something that's great for the golf course or the beach or the lake or the cookout. The place is loaded with great gift ideas for dad. Don't forget, every Tuesday is T-Shirt Tuesday at Volunteer. Is today Tuesday? No, today's T-Shirt Tuesday. I didn't realize that. Go get you a T-shirt from Volunteer Outfitters. All you have to do is buy something, and they give you a free T-shirt. How about that? They're open Tuesday through Friday, 10 to 6, Saturday, 10 to 4. Head over to New Shackle Island Road in Hendersonville, and when you stop by, say hey to Tommy and the rest of the crew, and tell them Matt Murphy sent you. 615-431-0824. For any questions, it's Volunteer Outfitters, where Tennessee gears up. Tell them I sent you.
5 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. And right now in Nashville, the Metro Council could be cut in half after a 3-judge panel in the state's Court of Appeals ruled in favor of the General Assembly's 2023 Small Government Efficiency Act. It was seen as payback against Metro Council's decision not to support hosting the 2024 Republican National Convention at the time, but supporters said it was to increase effectiveness of the Metro Council. The legislation says any local governmental body in Tennessee with more than 20 voting members would be required to dissolve and reappropriate current districts with the latest census data. Nashville's council has 40 members. The appeals court decision overturns a lower court's ruling last July when Nashville challenged it. Nashville could appeal it to the state Supreme Court. Also in Nashville, Metro Police have issued a warrant against an illegal immigrant from Venezuela for the May 18th hit-and-run crash that seriously injured a 21-year-old man trying to cross Church Street. Police say they've determined the 32-year-old Tony Gebian Lopez Infante was the driver of the Mitsubishi Mirage that was found a few days later with front-end damage at a rental business in Mount Juliet. Metro Police say federal partners, including Homeland Security investigations, are helping to locate Lopez. Right now in Middle Tennessee, hundreds of jobs going away in Laverne. Bridgestone America's tire operations will shut down July 31st in Laverne. A media release from Bridgestone said the decision to close the facility was due to a need to operate more efficiently and strengthen its competitiveness. It will affect 658 employees. That Trump tax bill getting slammed by former Doge director Elon Musk.
Now that he's a former White House advisor, Elon Musk calls the GOP measure massive, outrageous, pork-filled, and a disgusting abomination. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells reporters he's very disappointed.
My friend Elon is terribly wrong.
But top Senate Democrat Chuck Schumer says Musk is right.
Republicans should listen to him.
In the face of estimates that the measure could add nearly $4 trillion to the national debt, its backers say that assessment underestimates the bill's economic benefits. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Several GOP members of the Senate don't like the bill either. Here's Karen Travers.
They all have different reasons for what they don't like about the version that the House has passed. You have people like Rand Paul and Ron Johnson who are calling for deeper cuts from what the House sent over to the Senate. And then you have Josh Hawley, who is opposed to some of those deep cuts to things like Medicaid. So it's a very fine line that John Thune, as the Senate Majority Leader, is trying to walk here to make sure he can keep all the Republicans on board.
So what does President Trump think?
The president already knows where Elon Musk stood on this bill. It doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
That's White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt today. President Trump, by the way, has set a July 4th deadline to pass that bill. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. It is really slow going if you are eastbound 440 between 65 and 24. We do have a crash reported by police. This is going to be 40 westbound near I-65 West over on the West Loop. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Focusing on, gosh, I have a love-hate relationship with this subject. Fiscal responsibility. On the Matt Murphy Show today on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, in the aftermath of Elon Musk coming out and saying what he really feels about the, quote, big, beautiful bill, which is that it's disgusting, and and it is. You know, I understand that some of you are like, well, it's the best we can get. Well, sometimes your best isn't good enough. I do believe that Donald Trump, our president, wants more. I think that sane people want more. There are a few in the halls of Congress that really do want more. But mostly it's just go along to get along. I wrote something back in February on the X machine. You can find me at Matt Murphy Show. By the way, it's the Murphy Show. My name is Matt Murphy. Thank you for being with us. Hope you're having a great day. Beautiful day outside. Hot. My goodness. I mean, hottest day of the year. I cut grass this morning. How about that?
Wow.
I was very happy with myself.
Got a little workout in.
And and by the way, I'm just saying this ain't no riding lawnmower situation over there in Watertown. Like, this is push mower.
Is it self-propelled?
It is not.
Ooh.
Well, I mean, I'm a self.
Well, yeah.
and that gum moles don't make it any easier either.
You got to watch your step, man.
I go over those bumpies, man. Anyway, I did a little of that, and it was already getting hot this morning. It's hot out there, and expected to be hot over the course of the way. What do we got? Hey, Ken, I haven't been listening.
Yes, sir.
What
do we got?
Chad's calling you the weather wizard, so I'm going to lean on you on it.
Okay.
And I know you love that. Just the typical summer deal where there might be pop-ups or no rain. What are we talking about?
Talking about today or
through the course of the week?
Thursday looks like some afternoon showers and storms are possible, looking at a high around 90 degrees. Now, on Friday, everybody along and west of 65 will be under a level 2 risk for severe weather.
You're going down there to CMA Fest. You better take your rubbers.
Talking about...
And a raincoat, too, probably.
And a raincoat, of course.
It's going to be about 89 degrees on Friday.
Just when the folks start having some respect for this show, I go and say something like
right
that.
out the window.
And then there it goes. Yeah. Oh, he's 13 again. Yeah. That's right.
So that's what we're looking at there, Brother Murphy.
Yeah, so that's, that's typical. But it's hot. Man, I can't wait to get my shoulder worked on and have all of that crap all over my body when it's 100 degrees outside. That'll be fun.
That sounds like it.
I think that's going to improve my mood.
Mm-hmm.
No, I wrote this back in February, and I just want to share it with you. And it won't take long. But this was February the 16th. Understand, this was less than a month after Donald Trump had taken office. I wrote, for my 25-year career, leftists and their minions in the mainstream media have nodded their heads in agreement when fiscal watchdogs like me suggest that we have to get our rampant spending in order and under control, focusing first on waste, fraud, and abuse, or our nation will eventually die under its own financial burden. The leftist intellectual pinky drinkers would agree and just talk about one day we are going to tackle it for real. How much they agreed that it was such an issue, an important issue. Let's debate on how best to get it under control. Now, I wrote in February, that Trump, Elon Musk, and Doge are actually tearing flesh from bone, these same people are exposed. They never meant it, not a word, ever. They just lie about it and move on. And they never thought anyone inside the system, Republican or Democrat, had the stones to do anything about it. Of course they didn't. Why would they? GOP sadly never had the numbers to lift a finger. Outside of Reagan, GOP only spoke of debt and spending when they weren't in power. When they got power, they were too busy spending and overspending our money. Now the leftists howl, they screech. They claim people will die and programs don't really waste all that much money and there's not really that much abuse and the agencies are just too important. They scream that Elon and Trump are racists and generally engage in ad hominem attacks and how all of this is illegal anyway and that this is a constitutional crisis. Some are now saying overspending isn't really an issue anyway, that we should just tax our way out of it. We couldn't if we wanted to. Sadly, leftists and most of their supporters are hopelessly addicted to government. They're in a cult. They bow before the altar of government. To them, the people are in service to government. Oh, sure, they'll tell you that this is all for the greater good. What they don't tell you is the greater good is further power and further control for those in the bureaucracy, for them, and scraps for their media minions and mindless voters who dare not question them. They do not understand the independent and individual responsibility most Americans are willing to take to claw our country back. The spirit of freedom that grew our country has not died. We bow to no institution created by man, only to God. And I pray we show him and them. I've been yelling and screaming about overspending and proper constitutional responsibility for 25 years, and I had resigned to myself, I wrote in February, that all it would ever be is talk. Now, who knows? If patriotic Americans can hold the line with this leader in power, with the real America behind him, let's keep up the work and listen less to the pathetic howlers. Matt Murphy. That was February 16th. I was wrong to be hopeful. They're not going to do anything. They're going to pass a bill that adds trillions of dollars to our national debt. And this is the only shot that we've got. If we cannot do something now, you'll never get another shot at it. You just won't. And most of you don't care. Or most of us aren't paying attention. Lloyd is on the road. Hello, Lloyd. How are you?
Matt, my friend, you have said what I was thinking yesterday with the Columbia Dam fellow on there. This whole state and federal money thing, does that guy not realize that every dime we pay in taxes, that everybody pays in taxes, is our money? Doesn't matter whether it's federal, doesn't matter which state it comes from. Okay? I wanted to call in yesterday, but it would have been an explicit. I would have lost my mind on that guy. Okay? You were saying the things today also that a lot of people already see, and all we're doing is waiting for the balloon to go up. You cannot spend like this and expect to continue. We will go bankrupt as a nation, and then all we can do at that time or prior to that is pay attention and watch our own yard. And then when it happens, we just do what we can do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know about you, Lloyd, but I'm investing in ammunition.
Well, I would have, except I lost all my firearms in a boating accident.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Well,
it was the Tennessee River, beautiful sunset, all my firearms, and the boat went down. So, you know how it goes.
Well, man, that's a rough story. That's a rough day. I get it. Well, no, you're right. The one thing that I would say, and you know, and you and I can have this discussion, but I would say that the only real difference between state money and federal money is that state money is real money. For the most part, federal money is fake. It's just fake money. I mean, and I defy the most esteemed economist, not you, Lloyd, but the most esteemed economist to tell me that I'm wrong. I mean, it's fake money. It's made up money. It is paper trail money. Doesn't really exist.
I'm a small businessman, okay? I understand small business math. You have a product or a service you sell, that's your income. You have a cost of doing business, that's your cost. What's left over is profit. We can't spend more than our profit because then we become bankrupt. We lose our business. Big business and government, it absolutely befuddles me as to how they can continue to do what they're doing, knowing the route that we're on.
Lloyd, great.
Their nets are feathered, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's right. They do that first. They make sure of that first. I'm just in a look, folks. And thank you, Lloyd, for the call. And I get it. I'm in a sour humor right now, but I'm just not very hopeful. I want to be. One of the things that I learned early on doing this job is that in order to do it well, you have to remind yourself of your belief in the American people. You know who taught me that? Rush Limbaugh. Rush Limbaugh never in his life lost his hope in America because he believed in the people of the United States of America. He didn't believe in our government necessarily. I mean, he believed in the principles of a representative republic. He believed in our founding fathers, obviously, but he believed in the American people. And I try to remind myself of that. But we got a lot of American people that are on the TikTok, man. We got a lot of American people that are interested in the minute and a half dope hit that comes from an Instagram video. And I know I'm in a mood, and it's, I'm marshing the mellow of a lot of people out here, and I hear you, and I see you on the social media platforms, and I see you on the super text line, and I'm just a little frustrated right now. Back in February, that was me being hopeful, and I saw where the liberals were screaming because they saw that we had a shot at it. They saw a glimmer of hope. And between February, when I wrote what I just read to you, and now, what has happened? They passed a bloated continuing resolution that David Kustoff, Congressman Kustoff, came on this show and was so proud of because it spent at 2024 levels, the 2024 levels that overspent by $1.7 trillion. And what else has happened? What have we codified? Since February, what have we codified? What have we set into stone? What have we saved on? I mean, we've knocked a couple of contracts out and we've cut a couple of contracts away. And, the executive branch has done what it possibly can. But, I understand nipping at the edges and, you eat an elephant one bite at a time. But I don't see anybody with forks and knives. I don't see anybody eating. They're just at the trough. They're just at the trough, ready for more government pork. So, John writes in, for example, and John's a good example. And John says, what are you going to do with your bully pulpit? Going to whine about it, or are you going to take some kind of lead, at least where you can say you tried? Well, without trying to sound defensive here, John, but what do you think I'm doing? I've talked about this for 2 hours, and I've had 4 calls. Phone lines are open. If we and we are the most listened to spoken word radio show in this state right now. Right now. So it's not for a lack of people listening. It's for a lack of belief that we can get anything done about it. But I'm trying. We have to impress upon our conservative / libertarian / Republican leaders that telling us that they're trying their best is not cutting it anymore. We have to expect that they're going to work more than 3 days a week. We have to expect that they're going to get more done. I think they've passed. Last I checked, Cameron Smith had a good check on this, and I need to ask him. Last I checked, they had passed 8 bills. Eight bills. And 3 of those were like resolutions, like we resolve that we're going to say this and that and the other thing. It does nothing, right? 8 bills. One of them was the Lake and Riley Act. One of them was the continuing resolution. There was one that Trump just signed last week. I can't remember what it was. That was there's like 8 bills since January. It's June. It's June. John says, whatever. You're bringing everybody down, making us feel like there's no hope, and you're supposed to be on the radio to do just the opposite. Get some fight back in you. You've got the smartest audience right now, but you're probably losing them pretty quick. Well, John, I'm just trying to tell the truth. I'm not very hopeful right now. And I believe it in my bones, and all I can be is honest. I mean, sometimes it's not very joyful, but all I can be is honest. And if we can't see real progress, I'm on record, John and everybody else, we will never pay the $37 trillion back. Never, ever, ever, never. It will never happen, okay? The only thing we can hope is that we'll stop adding to it. And I don't think we can do that. I'm not very hopeful. I am depressed about it all. This is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, Safe House, let me tell you something. I'm not depressed about this, and I'll tell you that if you're looking for something that you can invest in, I would invest in a safe from Nashville Safe House. It's a great way. If our caller, Lloyd was his name, that lost all his guns on the boat, if he had kept his guns in a safe from Nashville Safe House, maybe that wouldn't have happened. I'm just throwing it out there. And they have them. They have some great safes available. You know, they're the largest safe company in the Southeast, and by extension, I would suggest the largest in the United States of America. And they have professional delivery and installation. They don't let crackheads deliver your safe. They have qualified teams that are employed by Nashville Safe House that do that. Gun safes are always sales tax free at Nashville Safe House, and they have them in spades. They've got about 200 on the showroom floor, another almost 400 in their warehouses. Brands like Browning, the largest Browning dealer in the United States of America, Fort Knox, Champion, Superior, Rhino, and many, many, many more. Go by and see them. You can find them online at NashvilleSafeHouse.com or stop by 4th Avenue South in Nashville. It's Nashville Safe House. Tell them Matt Murphy sent you to 4th Avenue South.
Metro Nashville's council could be downsized after all. An illegal immigrant is the prime suspect in a Nashville hit and run, and a new effort to find the runaway pet zebra in Murfreesboro. These stories and more coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So I'm hoping to get an update from the old protest. Hope it's going well out there in front of the historic Nashville courthouse. That is happening right now. Protesting the possibility of a 27% property tax increase in Davidson County. We'll get an update from the redheaded stranger. Ben Cunningham of the Nashville Tea Party is out there as well. Matt Murphy Show continues. We've also got nincompoops in the news coming up. And Ask and Answered, a lot of you are calling in regarding your thoughts on the conversation that we're having today, reacting to the reaction of Elon Musk. His frustration with the quote-unquote big, beautiful bill. By now, and I know Ken's been playing the soundbite, but now you've probably heard it, but the Trump administration reacted to what Elon had to say.
And something that just crossed, Caroline, how mad do you think President Trump is going to be when he finds out that Elon Musk said, "I'm sorry, but I just can't stand it anymore. This massive, outrageous, pork-filled congressional spending bill is a disgusting abomination. Shame on those who voted for it. You know you did wrong. You know it."
Look, the president on this bill, it doesn't change the president's opinion. This is one big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it.
So we lost a little audio there for a second, but asked by Peter Ducey and answered by Caroline Levitt saying, look, Trump knows where Elon is on this, and he likes the big, beautiful bill, and he's sticking to it. It is what it is. Let's see who is first up. Let's go to Eric in Franklin. Hey, Eric, how are you?
I'm doing well, man. How about you?
I'm good.
Thanks for the topic. Listen to this. If our national debt is $36 trillion, if the national population is 347 million, I think that's high, but I Googled it. That would be $103,749 per person. Child, senior, employed, not employed, $103,749 per person that we owe. I mean, think about that. That's absurd. I mean, what portion of the population could pay that over 20 years? A minority. So, I mean, we're in dire straits. I mean, that's $103,700 per person is what we owe. I mean, there's no plan to pay that down.
There's no appetite to pay it back. I mean, there's no incentive for anybody to get elected to the Congress saying, "Hey, I'm going to go up there and I'm not going to deal with your pressing needs. I'm going to deal with the note." There's not an incentive to do it. We'll get more calls right before nincompoops. We'll try to serve both of those masters here in just a moment. Right now, it's time for Ken Weaver in the news on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.5:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, full forecast, and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, Metro Council could be downsized now that the State Court of Appeals has ruled in favor of the General Assembly's 2023 Small Government Efficiency Act. At the time, it was seen as payback for Metro Council's refusal to host the 2024 Republican National Convention, but supporters said it was to increase the efficiency and effectiveness of the council. According to the bill, any local governmental body with more than 20 voting members would be required to dissolve and reappropriate current districts with the latest census data. Well, Nashville has 40 members on the council, and they challenged that law. And today's ruling overturns a lower court's ruling last July, which at the time was celebrated by Mayor Freddie O'Connell and others. Vice Mayor Angie Henderson says they'll be discussing next steps with Metro's legal department, which could be appealing to the state Supreme Court. Right now in Nashville, an illegal immigrant is the suspect in a hit and run. Metro police say arrest warrants have been issued against 32-year-old Tony Gebian Lopez Infante in the May 18th hit and run crash that seriously injured 21-year-old Zachary Carriage while he was crossing Church Street. Lopez, from Venezuela, is also wanted in Williamson County on an outstanding probation violation warrant related to a theft arrest. Metro Police say federal partners, including Homeland Security investigations, are helping to find Lopez. And Channel 4 says there will be a canine search tonight for that pet zebra running loose since it escaped its owner's property near Murfreesboro on Saturday. Courtney Allen reports.
Branson Wells with Volunteer Drone Services says he's working with the zebra's owner to find the animal free of charge.
In our thought process, this zebra has been avoiding people. He's most likely in an area that does not get a whole lot of attention or eyes in the area where he can hide very well.
Zebras are known to feed on grass, which there is plenty of in the area. And his owner told us Monday he hopes he's found a body of water.
There's multiple ponds, rivers. I mean, I've flown very low to the ground, being able to see up under the trees around the riverbanks and stuff like that.
Wells says he's covered thousands of acres. So far, only seen a few hundred head of cattle, 50 horses, and 1 deer. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. In Bellshire, TDOT says there's a crash blocking the right lane, Briley Parkway southbound after I-24 north. Watkins Park, TDOT says left lane block 40 eastbound after Charlotte Avenue. In Antioch, police reporting a crash 24 eastbound after Hickory Hollow Parkway. Over on the West Loop, police say there's a crash 40 westbound near I-65 West. Traffic every 10 minutes, every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Grace Point Healthcare is affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine in a direct pay format. That's important for a couple of reasons. One, you know exactly what your medical care is costing you. Sadly, it's one of the few things that we have no idea what it costs us, even when we sign off on some medical care, right? Because the insurance company gets involved and you don't know until you get billed later. That's not the case at Grace Point Healthcare. You know exactly what it's costing you. Secondarily, it is very inexpensive. You know, quality medical care, quality health care doesn't have to be expensive, as some companies provide it. At Grace Point Healthcare, in a direct pay format, you can pay $69 a month for their basic smart care plan, and you get unlimited office visits at Grace Point and free basic labs and diagnostics. There's not a lot of wait times. They believe in that. They believe in getting you in when you're sick, not 2 weeks from now. Sadly, that's the case with some. And obviously, you know, if you've got allergies, you've got other issues, they're going to try to treat naturally whenever possible. And only will they offer you pharmaceuticals when necessary. Located in the heart of Franklin, I love the way they do their business, and I encourage you to go there. 599-6868 to schedule an appointment. 599-6868. Grace Point Healthcare. Modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to nincompoops coming up in mere moments on Super Talk. I promised I'd try to get to a few of your calls prior to nincompoops. We're going to do that. I asked, and many of you have called in to offer your thoughts on. I mean, look, I understand that it's not an uplifting show right now, but it is what it is, and I try to remain hopeful. I try to remain resolved in the belief that the American people will see fit to make this better. In the meantime, speaking of the American people, Ben Cunningham is down at the protest that started at about 5 o'clock at the old Nashville courthouse. Let's check in with Ben of the Nashville Tea Party to see what's going on. Hey, Ben, how are you?
Hey, Matt. Good afternoon. We got some pissed off people down here.
That's good.
I mean, they are mad. We're hearing all kinds of stories. Guy just been in my ear for about 15 minutes. I mean, and unfortunately, the refrain I hear from most folks is, "I'm getting the hell out of here if this continues." But they're pissed off about the appraisals. They're pissed off that the tax rate's going up, and they're really pissed off that the Metro councilmen are not being more of an advocate for the taxpayers. And that I think probably is the bottom line for most people. They just don't feel like the taxpayers have any representation up there.
Well, luckily, we've got these ticked off people ready and able to get in there and speak directly to the council prior to the council making any definitive decisions about a property tax increase. I mean, Ben, does this create hopefulness in you that maybe some on the council will actually listen to the people of Davidson County?
If they listen to the group that's here and they're already up there, and it looks, if you want to come down and have your say, there's still plenty of time. They'll probably start about 7 o'clock with the public hearing for the budget. They're going to have some public hearings on other items before that. But if you get down here by 7:30, you're good. And you'll be able to have 2 minutes and tell the Metro Council what you think. They're going to, if this crowd's any indication, they're going to be some pissed off people up there giving them an earful. I mean, it's just story after story of people that they're just angry. They're angry because nobody's really representing them. Nobody's representing their budget, their family budget. All the talk about the hard times Freddie's having of fitting all his priorities in his budget. Nobody's talking about the taxpayer's family budget and the fact that Freddie is he's not going to cut the Metro budget, and what he's doing effectively is forcing the tax-paying families of Davidson County to cut their budgets. And he's basically saying, "I'm not going to cut my budget. We're going to cut your budget." People are pissed.
I'm trying to convince at least one Davidson County resident to stand before the city council and ask the city council how all of the migrant community will continue to be able to afford living in Nashville if he raises property taxes by 27%.
Yeah, good question.
I mean, they seem to care about the migrant community more than they care about the Davidson County residents that have been here so long. So why not just put it in their kitchen and see what they do with it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. If you don't pay your property taxes, Freddie will come down here, right where I'm at, the steps of the courthouse. He will take your deed to your property, and he will auction off your property to pay the taxes. That's what the taxpayers face. And the illegal migrants, they face nothing. And you're right. They're basically saying to the taxpayers, screw you. Our priorities are not the taxpayers. Our priorities are the illegal migrants, and it's people are angry.
So the protest going on right now in front of the courthouse. And what time did you say doors open to the city council meeting, Ben?
Well, 6:30 is when it starts, and they were estimating that the security guard out here was estimating that the budget hearing will probably start about 7 or 7:30.
Well,
and everybody who's you don't have to sign up for it. You just show up. You do have to sign up for the hearing that comes before that, but for the budget hearing, you just go into the council chambers, and they call you up in groups of 10, so you don't even have to sign up. You get 2 minutes to speak, and I would encourage anybody that wants to come down here, because this is the one opportunity you'll have to speak directly to the council members.
Ben, what will your give us a little preview? What will your message be to the city council? I'm certain that you'll be speaking.
Well, it's that just what I just said. I mean, it's somebody's got to be an advocate for the taxpayers. Somebody's got to be an advocate for the family budget, where all this money comes from. And nobody is. Everybody's talking about this item in the budget and this item in the budget. But nobody's saying, the taxpayers have to make hard decisions every month, too, in order to pay these property taxes. And we, the council and the mayor, should be making these hard decisions on the budget. We should be fiscally responsible so that the taxpayers are not hit hard again. And the 34% increase 3 years ago caused an explosion in property tax revenue. And the mayor says, "Oh, this is just keeping up with inflation." That's a lie. That's a bald-faced lie. Revenue's been accelerating way beyond inflation, and if this increase passes, it'll be way, way beyond inflation.
Well, and you'll see
it's way beyond what they need.
And you'll see more and more people, sadly, like our own Pamela Furr, who I know you know well, and I know her well, who says that she's making exit strategy plans out of Davidson. Doesn't want to leave Davidson County, but can no longer afford it, and so she'll just move on down the road. And I think she is representative of the attitude of a lot of people who have the ability to do it.
Absolutely. That is the one common denominator that I hear down here from the folks that have come up. We're getting the hell out of here if this continues.
Well, tell all those folks.
We see that in all the other places.
Yeah,
all the other urban counties.
Tell all of those folks to keep their chins up. Tell them that we wish them well, that we have their back, and we love them, and we support them, and continue to fight the good fight. I'll get down there as soon as I can, brother.
Matt, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
Take care. There's Ben Cunningham with the Nashville Tea Party. He's down at the protest, joined by I don't know how many. The numbers are going to be a little slim because, sadly, people have to work. But I don't know how many people are down there now, but hopefully they pack the city council chambers and make our voices heard in Davidson County. It's time for Nincompoops in the News on Super Talk.
Nincompoops in the News.
That's right. You've heard from me. I've been grumping and groaning and moaning and complaining all day. It's time to find the nincompoop. Maybe I'm the nincompoop. It would not surprise me if Chris Webber or Ken Weaver said, "My nincompoop in the news today is Matt Murphy."
Dateline, Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, if I hear that. But we got 3 stories, and you've got 1 vote, and we're going to do it. It's time for Nincompoops in the News. Hello, man.
What's going on?
What's happening? I'm going to go first today, fellas, because mine is going to be quick.
Let it rip.
Because I'm running late on Nincompoops, so I feel like I should make up time. Here's the deal. We've heard a lot about zebras lately, right? And we had that sad story about the black bear up in Gallatin.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a better black bear story for you down in Naples, Florida.
Okay.
This is not a Florida man story. It's not a Florida woman story, but it is a story about something naked in Florida, a Florida bear. So, see, it's summertime, fellas, and everybody can use a beach day, including a black bear, who was captured on video recently taking a swim near the Florida shoreline.
Wow.
Kylie Nelson and her son were on the beach when they spotted the bear swimming in Naples, Florida, May 30th. According to USA Today, the mother and son spotted the bear while they were out for a morning walk. In the video recorded by Nelson's son, the bear is seen swimming close to the shoreline. Nelson calls 911. Her son is heard saying on the video, "Mom, run." Nelson later captured another video of the bear exploring part of a beach residence. The bear isn't the first to be spotted by residents in the area, according to the Naples Daily News. James Paul Mayo, a nature photographer, told the outlet that he'd seen a mother bear and 3 cubs walking down the street near homes in Naples. So it is unusual to find bears swimming in the ocean, but it is not unheard of. But I thought it was kind of cute, and I don't know necessarily who the nincompoop is. Maybe it's the bear himself. Who knows? But I think it's nice. Bears got to have some vacay, too. And, they're up in the mountains. They get down. They take the family down to the beach, have a little beach time.
That's right.
There you go.
Everybody needs a break.
Maybe the nincompoops of the people that were standing around videoing the bear when, you don't want the bear. Bear gets out of the water and starts shaking off. you might want to get out of there.
Yeah.
Like the kid
Definitely.
said, Mom, run.
Get off the phone.
Mr. Weber?
Well, I'll continue your theme. Mine involves water and a critter.
Oh, hello.
What's being described as a really muscly kangaroo tried to drown a man in Australia after the two got into a punch-up, as they say.
Muscly kangaroo.
Don James is said to have found himself fighting for his life as the marsupial held him down in floodwaters, which had pooled on the side of the road near Port Macquarie, only escaping after the animal appeared to become spooked.
Crikey!
Christy Lees, who watched the battle unfold in her rearview mirror, says it's not every day a big male kangaroo decides to take you on. Even in Australia, you don't expect to see it. She suspects the distressed kangaroo became trapped in the area following record flooding that hit New South Wales that left 5 people dead. She says they literally got into a boxing match. I'm looking in the rearview mirror, and they're throwing punches. Mr. James then ran backwards before tripping and falling into a patch of flood water by the side of the road. And the next thing Christy knew, the kangaroo was holding him down.
Uh-oh.
And then the kangaroo appeared to have become spooked, perhaps by an approaching car that was driven by Mr. James's friend, which allowed him to escape towards Mrs. Lee's car, who had been trying to warn as many people as possible. Mr. James says, the kangaroo was trying to drown me. As Christy Lee said, as she was able to see it all, he says, I would just remember being underwater and kicking and screaming and carrying on. And here's the weird part. This is the second time in 12 months that Mr. James has found himself fighting for his life. Less than a year earlier, he had to fend off another attack. This time it was a great white shark. He says, I feel like they're trying to kill me, these animals.
Australia wants to kill you.
I'm telling you.
The
Dangerous.
entire continent of Australia wants to kill you.
So I'm nominating him as my nincompoop. You better find a different hobby or something, man.
How is it that Australia has, like, on a list of, like, the deadliest creatures on Earth, Australia's got, like, most of them.
Yeah, they check about all the boxes.
Yeah.
Spiders, snakes, everything.
Yep.
Yeah. I've run across Instagram accounts of Australians who have pet spiders that are the size of pizza plates.
No, sir. No.
Nope.
No.
I just let them crawl around their house.
No, sir. Not today, not tomorrow, not next week. Mm-mm. And it bothers me. You know, we've long known that kangaroos will box you.
Yeah.
But this idea that particular kangaroo had awareness about the fact that he could drown you.
Yeah.
That's
apparently
weird.
It's something that they do as a defense mechanism if they are threatened. They're not trying to actively. Yeah, they've been known to hold other animals and stuff underwater if they feel threatened.
They're not friendly.
No.
They're just like zebras.
One of my favorite online videos is the guy that defends his dog against the kangaroo.
Yeah.
Y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
the dog's going after the kangaroo, and the guy goes up and bops the kangaroo.
Yeah.
And the kangaroo's, whoa. And then takes off. I can't handle you. Mr. Weaver?
Tulsa woman arrested after alleged theft and assault endangering her 5-year-old child. This woman was arrested following a chaotic series of events at Hustler Hollywood.
Oh, no.
The Tulsa Police Department responded after receiving a disturbance call around 11:17 p.m. Upon arrival, officers learned that a woman, Daviana Robinson, tried to steal around $700 worth of merchandise from Hustler Hollywood. Robinson reportedly hit an employee in the face when she was confronted. Then she hit a customer who tried to intervene with a high-heel shoe display. Investigators said Robinson left the scene in her vehicle, tried to run over the customer who snapped a picture of the license plate. Officers later conducted a traffic stop once the vehicle had been found, but Robinson tried to escape. According to police, Robinson drove to a different store and hid in the bathroom. With help from the store staff, officers were able to take the suspect into custody. Police said even though Robinson was handcuffed, she resisted arrest and bit one of the officers, breaking the skin. Oof. Now, here's the sad part. Her 5-year-old daughter was in the back seat.
Oh, no.
During this whole thing. She was later handed over to her grandfather.
Wow. Hustler Hollywood, huh?
Hustler Hollywood. Robinson claims she had been using drugs, including fentanyl, cocaine, and heroin.
You don't say.
Yeah, decided
Can't imagine.
Let's go to Hustler Hollywood.
Come on, Sally.
Don't You know,
Mount up.
There's one of those down on Church Street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I used to, I threatened when I was the first month I was here, I was in the company put me up in a little condo, a little Airbnb over there on Church Street.
Mm-hmm.
It was right down from the Hustler Hollywood.
Yeah.
And I'd always threatened to go in there, but I was too chicken.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously. Just I don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah.
I was
You
a
don't
little
want
too
to walk
chicken.
in and everybody turns and looks at you.
You know, the record scratches and what you need's in back. No. I just need to leave. Thank
You know who gave me this story? My mom. My mom and dad, they tune into us every day.
That happened in their neck of the woods, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
So last night I was talking to him, and Mom said, honey, I've got an income hoops for you.
All right.
Excellent.
Hold on a second. I've got to go online. I'm voting for Ken. Or actually, no. I'm voting for Ken's mama.
There you go.
For Nincompoop.
Yeah.
There you go. That's Nincompoops in the news. There you go, Mama Weaver. There's your Hotel Hollywood Hustler story. There you go. You can vote 615-737-9986. Danny, stay in there. Melissa, stay there. I'll get to your calls in a moment. Vote on the Super Text line. We're back after this at Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. Right now in Nashville, a Tennessee appeals court has revived the state legislature's effort to cut the number of Metro Council members from 40 to 20. The goal of the General Assembly's 2023 Small Government Efficiency Act was to address what supporters said was the effectiveness of Nashville's legislative branch. Others said it was payback for the Metro Council refusing to host the 2024 Republican National Convention. Well, according to the bill, any local governmental body with more than 20 voting members would be required to dissolve and reappropriate current districts with the latest census data. Vice Mayor Angie E. Henderson out with a statement today saying she's disappointed in the appeals court decision. She says fails to respect the will of Nashville voters and looks forward to discussing the next steps with Metro's legal department. Also in Nashville, an illegal immigrant is the suspect in a hit and run. Metro police say arrest warrants have been issued against 32-year-old Tony Gebian Lopez Infante in the May 18th hit and run crash that seriously injured 21-year-old Zachary Carriage while he was crossing Church Street. Lopez from Venezuela is also wanted in Williamson County on an outstanding probation violation warrant related to a theft arrest. Metro police say federal partners, including Homeland Security investigations, are helping to locate Lopez. And Channel 4's Lydia Fielder says 5th District Congressman Andy Ogles is commenting on the search for this driver while the federal investigation he pushed for plays out.
Ogles wrote here in this social media post that Mayor O'Connell is more focused on obstructing federal immigration enforcement than he is on protecting the people of the city. For the last couple of weeks, Ogles has pushed for more answers after the mayor requested the names and charges against the people arrested by ICE. Now, in that process, the mayor signed an executive order, and through that, the names of some ICE agents involved in arrests were made public. The mayor says that was never the intention and that their names were immediately taken down from online.
Well, right now in Rutherford County, Bridgestone America says it's going to shut down the tire plant in Laverne on July 31st, meaning 658 people will lose their jobs. Bridgestone says it's to increase the company's efficiency and competitiveness. And the wife and children of the suspect in this weekend's Colorado attack have been taken into custody now by ICE and HSI. That's Homeland Security Investigations in Colorado. Here's Alex Stone.
The family is being, we understand, processed right now for expedited removal out of the U.S. Remember, Solomon, we know, was in the country illegally, overstayed a work visa. It would seem his family probably was in the country illegally as well, that they are now in custody and getting ready for removal from the U.S.
That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. The Gulch. TDOT says there's a crash blocking the left lane 40 eastbound near Broadway. Cedar Hill, Robertson County. Highway Patrol on the scene of a crash 24 westbound just west of Maxey Road. And then in Bellevue, police reporting an injury crash, I-40 eastbound at Old Hickory Boulevard West. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Man, I'm juggling a lot of things going on with the last hour of the show, 6:07. Thank you for being a part of the Matt Murphy Radio Show on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. We'll get to your calls momentarily, your thoughts on everything under the sun. Lots going on, and I just scratched the surface of it. We talked about the Elon reaction. There's the city council meeting that's going on. Pamela Furr tells me that they started the city council meeting with a quote from Anne Frank about pulling people from their homes. That's what she said. Pamela Furr just texted me that the city council meeting started with a somber quote from Anne Frank regarding the removal of people from their homes. One, I don't think any Nashville people have been removed from their homes. Number two, that's disgusting. Comparing immigration law and support of immigration law and support of the laws of the United States of America to what happened during the Holocaust. 8 minutes after the hour, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Let me get a couple of your calls. Danny's been holding on in Selmer. Hello, Danny.
Good evening, sir. Hope you're well. Hey, just right quick, I'm usually half in the bag when I call you, and I ain't this time. So I had little frustrations about one way I look at the politicians, our elected officials that we send to represent us, their personal budgets versus the job. Part of their job when we elect them is, among many other things, is to get spending and get a budget, get spending under control, get a budget and stuff like that. And when it comes to their personal finances, we can pay them $100,000 annual pay, and in a year, they could turn that into $1 million, their personal finances. Yet, when it comes to spending our money, because tax money the government gets, that's our money. That's yours, mine, everybody listening. This money comes out of our pocket that we could use to feed our families and stuff. But when it comes to our money, they don't care about it. They're selfish. They'll just blow it. They keep getting us further and further in debt instead of reining in the spending. And if they applied their personal budgets to the government budgets that they work on, we would be highly, highly profitable. You know, we wouldn't have any spending. And there's so many different examples I could give of that, but it'll take me too long. But you get the gist of what I'm saying.
So, what's going to make us so profitable again, Danny?
If these politicians were to apply, put pencil to paper, okay, their personal budgets, say we give them a $100,000 paycheck to be a senator.
Right. I'm listening.
For a year.
Oh, I lost for a second there, Danny.
They can turn their personal money. If we give them a $100,000 paycheck, they can make that $1 million in a year's time. But yet they can't get their job, which is control the budget and stuff for the government. They can't get any of that under control, and it keeps going further and further in debt. I'm saying if they applied their personal finance attitude towards their job, the government budget, we would be a highly profitable nation.
Well, I mean, maybe so, Danny. I don't know.
It just frustrates me.
I don't know that would necessarily stop the overspending, but I'm willing to listen to anything that might give us a shot at it.
If they weren't selfish and they were actually servants and not, if they were worried and concerned about spending taxpayer dollars, our money out of our pockets, they could do better. But they're more worried about themselves and making themselves profitable and not really caring about the rest of the citizens. And they're going to be insulated and isolated when things go bad because they make so much money in their facilities. They got different medical care, all that stuff, other than the average Joe. There's so many perks they get. I mean, when's the last time you got a $1,000 haircut, you know?
That's the truth.
All that stuff.
Well, I mean, you know, haircuts are pretty expensive, you know?
Hey, well, yeah, a little pricey. I suppose it's a cost of living for them.
$1,000, though. That's a lot of money. Yeah. Danny, thank you for the call. I got to scoot along to Melissa. She's been holding for a long time, too, on the road. Hey, Melissa, how are you?
I'm all right, man. Now, your president and my president told you the purpose of the big, beautiful bill. It was to codify the Trump tax cut. Now, he told us we're going to have to compromise to get it.
Yep.
We're going to have to work with the Democrats to get it. Now, do you know how he's going to erase the national debt? Have you got that far yet, Matt?
I'm sorry. What?
I offer you a little hope. I want to offer you a little hope.
Okay, well, hold on. I want to make sure I heard you correctly. What Trump's going to do to erase the national debt?
Yes.
Okay,
very simple.
Tell me.
Well, what other nations are paying for gold and silver, for instance, gold is $3,400 an ounce today. That's what China pays. That's what Russia pays. That's what India pays. Our gold that's in Fort Knox is $32 an ounce. Now, if half of our gold was revalued at market price, and we're supposedly holding the most gold, he who has the most gold wins. And that's what Besant wants to do. That's what Trump tells you every day. Golden year. It's just a golden year. This is going to be a golden year. He's telling everybody. He's telegraphing it. He can't tell you. I mean, they can't just come out and say that's what they're going to do.
Wait. I'm sorry. I'm confused. What are they going to do?
They're going to revalue the gold.
Who's they?
They're going to inventory the gold in Fort Knox. Besant, the Department of Treasury, Donald Trump. They're going to make it a big event. It'll probably be in July. It'll be for the next fiscal year. But in order to do that, he wants to codify the tax cuts first. That has to be done, and that's what this does. Now, I'm going to swallow hard. I hate all this spending, too. I do. I hate this bill. I'm like Elon Musk. It disgusts me, especially Elon, after Elon has worked so hard for this. But you got to give a little to get a little. And Trump knows this. He's the deal maker. And so you hide and watch and buy some gold and buy some silver. Because
I'm just
revalue our gold. That will erase the national debt. That will completely erase the national debt.
How does that erase the national debt? I'm confused, Melissa. How does revaluing the gold erase the national debt?
Well, I mean, how much gold do we have? It's valued right now at $42 an ounce. Every bit of gold that we have.
Wait, $42?
$42 an ounce is what our gold in Fort Knox is valued at.
The gold price as of June 3rd. Gold spot price is $3,000.
I know what gold is. I'm looking at it right now.
Melissa, hold on. I'm just trying to talk to you. Why are you mad?
I'm not mad. I'm
confused.
Explain it to you, hon.
Well,
don't be confused.
I'm not your hun, so let's not be confused about that.
The price of gold was set when Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard in 1973.
The value
$42.50 an ounce is what our gold is valued. Now, if it was revalued at $3,423, I think it's what gold closed at today, 34 something, maybe a little lower, maybe a little higher. Then how much do you think? How much money?
So you what you're saying, if I'm hearing you correctly, is the gold that's in Fort Knox and in the Treasury in Manhattan, which are
the Denver Mint and the Dallas Mint.
You're saying that the gold that America holds is only currently valued at $42 an ounce.
Yes.
According to whom?
According to Scott Bissett.
I don't know.
Secretary of the Treasury. According to Donald Trump. According to anybody.
I mean, I've just never.
Silver.
No, when I buy gold or silver, I don't pay $42 an ounce.
Well, I don't either. I'd love to. I'd build a house out of it if I could buy it for $42 an ounce.
But why are you saying that American gold is valued at that, though? That's what I'm confused about.
That's what it's valued at. That's exactly what it's valued at, Matt. I mean, check
where can I check you? What should I Google?
Go to the Department of Treasury. Do you have the app? Get the app.
I'm looking. Gold. The price of gold per ounce as of June 3rd, 2025 is $3,339.60.
Yep. True.
Well, that's not $42.
But the gold that we have in storage is valued at $42.50 an ounce.
According to whom?
If you'll go to the usdebtclock.org, it will tell you exactly how much our gold is valued at. I'm looking for it right now. And I don't want any, dead air time. I know that's
no. I'm genuinely, I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just don't understand what you're saying.
Well, the dollars to gold ratio, let's see if I can enlarge this. The dollars to gold ratio, it's not going to tell me right here on this website. But when we went off the gold standard.
All right, so listen. I've got a breakdown that I just found. It said Fort Knox currently holds approximately 147.3 million ounces of gold, valued at roughly $426 billion.
At $42.50 an ounce.
I don't know.
Now
the value of a commodity, just because the gold is inside of Fort Knox doesn't mean that it holds value from when it was put there.
That's what it was valued at.
That's not what it
never revalued.
What?
We never revalued our gold.
So what you're saying, Melissa, is if I am holding a bar of gold and I'm standing right outside of Fort Knox, it's worth an ounce of gold. It's worth $3,300. But if I go and I point to a bar of gold inside of Fort Knox, it's worth $42.
Doesn't make sense, but that's true.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll
follow up on that.
Okay.
Call me back. You got my number. I'll leave you a good gold bill.
I promise you that our national debt is not going to be resolved by what you're saying. I promise you. I will quit this job.
You made promises like this beforehand. You've made promises.
Okay. I'll wait. I'll wait for the announcement.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm
sure you do.
I've done the research on it.
Okay.
And I know. And
then why haven't we done this before? Why haven't we done this before?
Well, That's a good question. That's a very good question. And
that's
and
why, Melissa, you said you were
bank.
you said you were the expert. It's the reason I'm asking the question. So you tell me, why hasn't
central bank? Yeah, the Fed. The Fed is the reason we haven't done this before.
But the Fed's
silver is artificially low. You know what they pay for silver in India? You know what the real price of silver is, Matt? The real price of silver that they're paying in India is $1,558 an ounce. Now, what are we paying for it?
Yeah, the gold
Today
is held.
It was $34. Silver was $34 an ounce today. In India, they paid $1,500.
Okay, I believe you. I believe everything you're saying. I take back everything. You're right. You're right.
$8 per ounce.
You're right.
Yes.
You're right. This is the magic pill that we've all been looking for.
Well, yes, it really is. It really is.
That's great. Well, I mean, I don't. Why hasn't Trump done it? Why hasn't he done it already? I don't understand what he's waiting on.
He's waiting on the tax cuts to be made permanent. He wants it done by July the 4th, when he kicks off the golden year of America. And he's signaling it to everyone. He's signaling it, my golden office, my golden this, my golden that.
All right. I've got to. He's big into gold. He always has been. So he's waiting until we get. He's waiting for the.
Scott Bishop.
He's waiting.
Okay.
Well, Melissa, please call me back and say, Murphy, I was right, and we'll celebrate your correctness when you are right. Yes, the book value of the gold when it was placed in Fort Knox was listed at $42 and some odd cents. You are correct. It's not been updated. $42.50. But when they account the value of what the gold is, they use current market values. So I don't know what we're talking about anymore. It's 23 after the hour. And we're not on the gold standard either, so the dollar's valuation doesn't really fluctuate based. Anyway, USS stands for United Structural Systems. I understand this. If you're looking for a good foundation in your home, for foundation repair, waterproofing, or concrete leveling needs, it's all about United Structural Systems. When the weather changes and it gets hot, sometimes that can create soil cracking or maybe pulling away from your home, leaving holes or gaps in the next foundation. Are your bricks cracking? Are your walls bowing? Doors or windows sticking? Or drywall separating? If that's the case, you need to call USS. United Structural Systems, they can help. Waterproofing issues? They can help. If you've noticed the signs of that, maybe smelling those moldy or musty smells in your basement or your crawl space, it's time to get with United Structural Systems, friends. USS. Call 615-488-7855, 488-7855, or go to USSTN.com. That's USSTN.com for United Structural Systems. I promise you, they can assist in all of your needs. Over 30,000 satisfied customers, over 30 years of service to this community. It's USS.
For many of us, generators are becoming a must-have household appliance. From unpredictable weather to surprise outages, it's better to be safe than sorry. Generator Supercenter of Nashville offers fast and easy installations with 24/7 service and monitoring to all brands of generators and expert repairs done right. Our mission is to make owning a backup generator simple and easy. Visit your local store today or check us out online. Generator Supercenter of Nashville. We serve all Middle Tennessee.
So thank you for the call, Melissa, for cheering me up. I appreciate that. So the struggle that I have with your analysis, and I think I kind of understand it now, that when the gold was taken to at 1973, I guess, when we went off the gold standard, that they listed the value of gold, and I just saw the rate at $42.50 or something like that, like $42.50 an ounce. It's now like $2,900 an ounce or $3,000 an ounce or something like that. So the idea that Melissa's proposing is that if we reestablished our value of our gold in our reserves, that it would be worth, I think if what I've looked up is correct, the U.S. has 147.3 million ounces stored at Fort Knox, which is roughly half of the government's gold stash. Well, if you readjusted for market prices today, that gets you to about $950 billion. So, Melissa, you're saying that it would wipe out our debt. Our debt is $37 trillion. So even if you did what Melissa said and you somehow translated that into a repair of our debt, which I don't understand how you make that leap, because you'd have to sell it, right? You don't get the benefit of just having you could borrow against it, I suppose, but we're already doing that. I mean, that's a part of the good faith and credit. So I'm not trying to be argumentative. I just don't think that what you're saying works. There's no magic fix. I know we all want to find one, but I don't think that works. Kevin is next in Cookeville. Hey, Kevin. Oh, wait, Kevin, hold on. Just hold your horses. You and Sharon and Joe, I'll get to you in a minute. But I got to get to Ken Weaver right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. U.S. Pest stands for, well, they stand for killing bugs and taking names, and I'm telling you, they do a great job. U.S. Pest is all about protecting your home, your property, inside and out when it comes to pest protection. U.S. Pest believes in the United States of America, and they can't stand bugs. That's what it's all about. Full-service pest control is available. Call J.K., Erica, and the rest of the U.S. Pest team. Spiders, ants, mice, roaches, rats, other types of bugs. Spiders, can't stand them. They take care of them. Ticks and fire ants and fleas in the yard, they take care of that as well. They'll do yard preventative service. Termite protection is available. Full-service pest control available. Crawl space service as well. It's all for you at U.S. Pest. U.S. Pest, they love the United States of America, and they hate bugs. It's time to get with it. Call 590-1260. That's 590-1260 for U.S. Pest. Or go to uspest.com. That's uspest.com. I will say the responses to Melissa on the super text line are absolute gold. So, Melissa, I appreciate the thought, and I was not aware, and I will tell you, I was not aware that we did not reset values since 73. So I guess I get what you're saying, but I still don't understand how you feel like that repairs everything. Like, even if we reset that, we don't borrow money. We don't sell treasury bonds based on our assets. So resetting the value of that gold is not going to reset any past incurred debt, nor is it going to necessarily give us the ability to borrow future money. Of course, why would we want to do that to begin with? But we don't borrow money against our assets. We borrow money against the good faith and credit of the United States of America and our dollar. So I'm confused. I'm still confused. Like, even if you just reset it, that doesn't change the status of our national debt. And even if it did, you reset it and the evaluation is then, let's say, $1 trillion. Well, we only got $36 trillion to go, and we got no more gold because we had to sell it. Because you got to sell it, right? In order to pay back the debt. I need a vacation. I think I do. Sharon is in Murfreesboro. Hey, Sharon, how are you?
Well, I'm a little aggravated.
Okay.
About this big, not so beautiful bill. I agree with Elon totally. And it can't be big and beautiful at the same time. It can either be big or beautiful. So I just wanted to tell everybody, if you haven't seen the video of Tucker Carlson and Ron Johnson, it was about 6 days ago, posted on YouTube. It could be on X or whatever, probably other places. But anyway, I just saw it on YouTube yesterday. And Ron Johnson, boy, does he give some 411 on the spending from Congress. It's interesting.
It's horrible.
Have you seen it?
I've not seen the Johnson commentary, no. But, I mean, the spending is what I was referring to.
Oh, yes. Well, he lays out a lot of stuff that, and some things people probably thought were true, but things that I'm sure many people don't know, too. Anyway, he just flat out said that Congress doesn't really know how much they spend. They really don't. That is so stinking irresponsible.
Well, you know what's worse, Sharon? They don't really care.
Yes, I agree with you. And it's infuriating. I don't understand why more people aren't so infuriated that they actually take action and do something about it. I don't get it.
Well, I mean, people, it's because when we talk about it on this radio show, we have an audience of people that are invested in their government and their political world and what the world's going to look like from a political standpoint and how that shapes the world around us in the near term and in the long term. But for most people that are just living their life, going to work, they don't think that any of this is ever going to come home to roost. And if you sit down and talk with someone about it, it's depressing as hell. And people don't want to get depressed. And so they don't want to think about it.
Yeah, they put their head in the sand.
Right.
Because it's easier to not think about it, not deal with it. But it is going to come it's going to come to roost. It is, eventually.
And, right? And it's all a matter of when. And the way that it comes to roost is that our interest rates skyrocket, the country gets devalued, the dollar gets devalued to the point that the dollar is just not buying as much as it used to, and government will then try to double and triple and quadruple down on involvement, and it'll eventually the solution will be that the socialist will claim that capitalism didn't work and that in the interest of the people, because of the evaluation or the devaluation of the dollar, this is just Murphy's take on it, Sharon, that they will take over natural resources. This is the way that it has happened in other countries in the past, where they will begin demanding that the government of the United States of America, to build back up its evaluation, take over the quote-unquote people's resources. That comes in the form of energy, first and foremost, and then it'll come in the form of the valuable assets. And in the process of doing that, they'll also tax the gajillionaires and the billionaires and the millionaires and the people that they deem are the, quote-unquote oligarchs of the United States.
Yeah,
and we'll sadly descend into. I hate it. I hate even verbalizing it because it's very depressing. But that's the natural consequence of not dealing with our national debt.
Exactly, and I feel bad for Elon because he worked so hard on that Doge stuff, and I thought he did such a great job, and then now this. I just think that's almost and
I'm not, and Sharon, thank you so much. I'm no longer hopeful. I will admit that to you. I'm having a day. I mean, look, we are a family, and this show is a conversation. We sit around the proverbial water cooler or dinner table, and we talk about issues that are important to you, I hope, important to me, obviously. I'm the host of the gathering. And some days I'm more hopeful than others. And somebody wrote and said that I'm in I'm in a mood, some sort of, kind of bad mood. And I agree that I'm just not in a very good place today. Just because I'm frustrated. I don't believe that we're going to have a better shot at tackling our overspending than right now. And we have not overspent since Bill Clinton. And that was a long time ago. And there were a very particular set of circumstances involved in all of that. I do not believe for a second that there is a magic fix to any of this. There's not a magic thing that we can do. Donald Trump is not sitting on some magic formula that he can go and reevaluate the gold, and then suddenly what happens? Well, we all know what the gold is valued at. We all know what our assets are. The fact that we reevaluate that on the books is not going to change anything. As far as I can understand it, maybe I'm the one that can't get it. The only thing that's going to work us out of this is austerity. We have to spend less money as a government and allow the free market to work ourselves out of this. And the free market will do it if we allow the free market to do it. That's what gives me hope. The free market gives me hope, not some magic formula that Donald Trump's going to initiate regarding gold. I just don't think that's realistic. Hey, Joe, how are you?
Very well, Mr. Murphy. Just a side note to Ken's nincompoop story. I actually met Larry Flint down at the Church Street Hustler Hollywood right after it opened. He did an appearance and signed a friend of mine's law book and also my DVD, The People versus Larry Flint. But what I called about was the Metro Council opening the session tonight with a prayer from Anne Frank to place their stance on immigration. But I would think that the victims of the Holocaust would much rather appreciate it being moved to another land instead of what really happened to them.
Well, I mean, yeah, any alternative to the Holocaust would have been better than what the Holocaust was. I just think that they're mixing. I mean, they're trying to be overly dramatic, and it's silly. I mean, not even silly. It is. I won't say that. It is. It is emotionally charged, and it's designed to be that. The suggestion is that somehow that illegal aliens have the right to be here based on the fact that they got here without getting caught. It's not true. No one's trying to send these people in cattle. And thank you, Joe. Nobody's trying to send these people in cattle cars anywhere except they are being sent back to their countries of origin because that is where they belong. There is a process to get into the United States of America. They have circumvented the process. Ask these same people that are talking about Anne Frank on the city council, should there be borders? And should we have rules? And should there be regulations as to how you get into the United States of America? Yes or no? I mean, should there be a system? Yes or no? I mean, back it up and ask the biggest liberal in your life, the do-gooders, the people that are crying and, all Jenny Welsh or Terry Vo or whatever her name is, or Sandra Sepulveda. Ask them this. If you ever see them out and about, just say, should we have a system of legal immigration, like a process by which people immigrate to the United States? And the answers are yes or no. And if they say no, they're mentally insane, because that means that you don't believe that we should vet any anyone that comes into the United States of America with any system whatsoever? If the answer is yes, which is what sane people will say, then the natural next question is, what do you do to the people who break the rules? That's it. It's as simple as that. I'll break it down for you again. Should there be rules as to how you get into the United States? Yes or no? And if your answer is yes, the question then becomes, what do you do to the people who break the rules? Because if you say nothing, which is what they're saying right now, then why are there any rules to begin with? And if you say there shouldn't be any rules to begin with, then you're crazy. You don't believe in the sovereignty of the United States of America if you don't believe that we have the right to have borders. Does that make sense to everybody? I certainly hope so. Jeff is on the road. Hello, Jeff.
Hello, Brother Murphy.
What's going on in your world, Jeff?
Well, I was listening to your conversation a minute ago when you were talking to that woman and talking about the government coming in and price controls and inflation. And a movie, I think there's 3 of them that are out, Atlas Shrugged, is a perfect example of that if people haven't seen it. And one of the scenes that stuck with me the most in the whole movie was, and forgive me, I can't remember the character names. It's been a while since I've seen it. The woman's driving on the interstate. There's no cars on the road. And she pulls into a gas station. She pays hundreds of dollars for a tank of gas. And then parts of the movie where the senators and Congress and everybody's sitting up there grandstanding and talking about how they need more control over these businesses, and they're taking people's businesses and trying to control them, and it just gets worse and worse. So I just thought that was a pretty good example of something that people haven't seen. And watch Atlas Shrugged. It's pretty telling of what would happen if they kept going the way it was.
Yeah, I would encourage that too, Jeff. I'm a big fan of Ayn Rand. I'm a big fan of Atlas Shrugged. I'm a big fan of The Fountainhead. I'm a fan of libertarianism, obviously, more generally speaking, objectivism more broadly. And the movies are far more consumable than the book. The book is a slog, man. Atlas Shrugged, if you've ever read it, then you know what I'm talking about. It is brutal to get there. It's 1,300 or 1,400 pages, and I mean it. But it's because you have to read and you have to reread and you have to go back and you have to reread to try to understand some of the philosophical concepts that are being presented by Ayn Rand. But I'm a big fan of it. One more real quick before I have to take a final time out of the day. Hello, Ricky.
Hello.
What's going on, Ricky?
How are you?
Oh, man. I'm fair to partly cloudy, Ricky.
Good. I'm kind of the same way. Let me ask you a quick question. Do you know who owns more of the United States national debt than any other country? And I'll give you a hint. It's not China.
Yeah, I know it's not China. I want to say it's Japan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Japan at the end of World War II said they would take America over one day without firing a shot. I'm not sure that's going to happen.
Well, I don't know that Japan, I mean, the holdings are in treasury bonds. And those treasury bonds are constantly re-upping. So they can't call, I mean, I don't mean to get too deep in the weeds here, Ricky, but they can't call all those treasury bonds due at once. That's not how it works. Those cycle due. So, and then America can relet new treasury bonds to other interested investors that want to make some money on it in order to pay for them calling the ones that roll due. So it's not like they can call their debt due today. Know what I mean?
Okay, I understand.
Which is good, which is a good thing. But, yeah, I thought I had that right, that Japan, I think Canada holds a good bit of treasury bonds as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you are.
So yeah, I mean, but yeah, one way or the other, we got to get out of that business of trading on the good faith and credit of the United States of America for the purpose of overspending our money on an annual basis. Boy, this has been a fun show. I can't believe we finally gotten to the end, but we have. It's 53 after the hour. One more timeout, and we'll be back in a moment on Super Talk. Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for Tennessee Men's Clinic. Let's talk about your health. Let's talk about the Tennessee Men's Clinic and what they do for men and men health care. So, for too long, there was not a men-centric healthcare facility like Tennessee Men's Clinic that really focused on men's-only issues. I'm talking about testosterone issues. I'm talking about intimacy issues. I'm talking about ED. That's right, I said it, and I'm not afraid of saying it. And you shouldn't be afraid of hearing it, because if you have those struggles, you know what I'm talking about, and ignoring it is not going to make the situation go away. You know what will? A visit to the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Get with these guys. They are the best in the business when it comes to these types of things. They can get you back in the ball game today or tomorrow or when you meet their urologist. When you go in, you'll meet with them, and they'll do a little blood work, and they'll get some answers day of. You don't have to wait a week or 2 weeks or whatever. They'll get some answers right then about your T levels, about whether or not that's impacting or affecting the intimacy in your life. Get back in that ball game with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. That's what it's all about. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com or call 615-208-9090, 208-9090 for our friends at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Well, it's been an interesting show. I hope you've enjoyed it. Believe it or not, I've enjoyed it myself. By the way, many of you noting, and I did not know this, that our own Uncle Phil Valentine was in Atlas Shrugged.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Did not know that. Well, thank you for noting that. Thank you for being with us today. We'll crank it up again and do it tomorrow. We'll give you some results of the city council meeting that's happening right now, amongst other things. Friends, Mark Levin is up next. Have a wonderful evening, folks. Hug your loved ones. So long, everybody.